Chapter 542. After chatting with Du Hong for a while, a grandmaster came over. Minister Wang was one of them. Fong Ping was now certain that old Wang was an errand boy. He was everywhere. Not only Minister Wang, but the government also attached great importance to the competition. Among the grandmasters, there was also a rank 9 existence, Commander Li Daong of the military department. Seeing that Fong Ping and the rest had arrived, Li Daong nodded slightly and said, "Everyone's here. The other 5 parties are almost here too. 14 from Heaven of Gods, 12 each from Wana World and Ancient Buddha's Sacred Land, 6 each from Totem City and Andes Mountains, 50 in total." Li Daong said a few words and then said, "Our people went to investigate and found that the other side's contestants are not weak. There were middle stage rank 6, but there were very few of them. There were only 5 or 6 of them. On our side," Li Daong glanced at Fong Ping and the others and said, "There are 4 of them." Without the trio from martial arts universities, Sino Nation could still gather another 3 upper stage rank 6 martial artists. In that case, Su Zissou was the only middle stage rank 6 out of the 20 people in Sino Nation. Now, the trio from martial arts universities had dragged down Sino Nation's standards. If it were not for Zhang Tao's efforts and the fact that Fong Ping and the rest were not weak, the 3 of them would not have been allowed to come. Fong Ping was not interested in these weaklings. Just as he was about to speak, Li Yiming chuckled and said, "I don't care how many people they have. No matter how strong they are, they can't be stronger than my sword." Li Daong glanced at him and said with a slight frown, "Li Yiming, don't be too confident. I'm warning you, if you lose in the end and fail to qualify, you'll have to bear the consequences yourself." "Impossible," Li Yiming said confidently. "Even essence and blood fusion is not my match." Li Daong didn't say anything more about him. He continued, "Among the 5 parties, we haven't been able to find out how many experts have achieved essence blood fusion. Currently, we can confirm that there are about 5. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a rank 7 martial artist hiding among them. The other party has blocked our detection, so we can't pry forcefully. Although it was difficult to achieve rank 7 before the age of 30, it did not mean that there was no hope. If there really is a rank 7 martial artist, the challenged is allowed to surrender." There was no need to sacrifice himself for no reason. He could still put up a fight against martial artists of the same rank. However, a rank 6 fighting a rank 7 would be courting death. Fong Ping thought it sounded reasonable after he heard that. He really thought that he could not admit defeat. If the level 7 expert really wanted to challenge him, even he was not sure that there would be no danger. In reality, if he really encountered a rank 7 and the other party wanted to kill him during the battle, Fong Ping would not care about the rules. He would just run away first. As for not being able to escape, that was not to the extent of it. Fong Ping had already called Old Man Li. "It's so dangerous here. Someone might want to kill me. It's best if I call Old Wu along. At the critical moment, I'll appear and hack them to death." Old Man Li should be making a move now. As for whether Old Wu had broken through and come out of closed-door cultivation, it was still unclear. As for Old Man Li's rank 9 longevity sword, Fong Ping was not even sure if he had succeeded in forging it. If the forging was successful, Fong Ping was not afraid of anyone. The chances of a peerless powerhouse making a move were extremely low. A rank 9. Fong Ping felt that Old Man Li could defeat him. There was nothing to be afraid of. Li Daong continued, "Also, this time, the 11 of you must take at least 6 spots." He was referring to Fong Ping and the others. Li Daong said solemnly, "No matter what, no matter how dangerous it is, we must take down at least 6. If you're lucky enough to enter the restricted area, All 6 of you can become rank 7 martial artists as long as you survive. Although it's very realistic, I want to tell all of you that a rank 7 is comparable to 10 or even 100 rank 6. Among you, some of you may become high-ranked martial artists, but who knows how long it will take. You may not necessarily achieve rank 7. Even Fong Ping and Du Hong may not have a 100% chance of becoming high-ranked. Before you reach that level, all talent and signs are useless. The so-called quasi-grandmaster, no matter how accurate, is still not. Let me say something more realistic. Before you become rank 7, your lives are not as important as the spots. These words were extremely realistic. It was cruel, so cold-blooded. The restricted area spot represented becoming a grandmaster. Fong Ping and the others had not become grandmasters. Even if they had unlimited potential, they were not as valuable as the spots. Of course, that was what they thought. In Fong Ping's eyes, the spots were naturally not as important as his own life. After speaking to Fong Ping and the others, Li Daong looked at Li Fei and the others, pondering for a moment before saying, "As for the 9 of you, just take 4 or 5 spots. Those middle stage rank 6 martial artists are all your opponents. Commander Li." Zhang Nanqi could not take it anymore. He said sullenly, "We're not that afraid of death yet. I'm also a peak rank 6 martial artist. If we're so afraid of death that we only dare to challenge middle stage rank 6, then we might as well give up this spot. If we're all so afraid of death now, what will we do when we go to the restricted area? Commander Li, there are real men in Star City too. We don't want to be treated differently." This was a form of humiliation. Zhang Nanqi's face turned red. Li Daong's words, "I'll leave middle stage rank 6 for you guys," was a blatant humiliation. It was not just Zhang Nanqi. Among the crowd, other than Jiang Chao, who looked happy, everyone else was furious. Their participation in the competition meant that they wanted to become stronger. If they wanted to become stronger, then they did not need to be treated differently. Otherwise, they might as well just mingle around in Star City. Even if they did not go to the catacombs and did not participate in the competition, no one would say anything. Li Daong said lightly, "That's up to you. We won't set any restrictions on who you challenge." When he said that, everyone was speechless. Fong Ping chuckled and said, "Commander, once I'm in the arena, people make mistakes and horses stumble. If I kill a paragon's descendant, you won't make me pay with my life, right? If that's the case, then I won't dare to go." Li Daong said calmly, "As long as you didn't kill him on purpose, then there's no problem. If the other party has completely lost the ability to resist, and you still kill him, then that means you killed him on purpose. There's no need for that. If you can't hold back during a spar, it's very normal. A paragon is also a martial artist. Don't you understand this principle? Moreover, our Sino nation is not weak. Which paragon will make irresponsible remarks because of these things? Naturally, there will be people supporting them." However, Li Daong glanced at him and said word by word, "Fong Ping, there's no need to provoke a great enemy for no reason. If you can't hold back and kill the other party, then it's fine. If you kill the other party on purpose, then that's a provocation. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. If your family was deliberately tortured to death, would you agree? However, if you're accidentally killed during a spar, no matter how angry or sad you are, there's nothing you can do about it. You understand what I mean?" Fong Ping laughed. "Of course I understand. I'm not stupid. Don't worry, Commander. I won't deliberately provoke a great enemy for myself. However, if someone provokes me, then I won't hold back. It's fine if it's an outsider, but if one of us dares to stab me, then I promise to kill him." As he said this, Fong Ping looked at the people from Star Polaris with a grin. The faces of the two from the Yang family were extremely ugly. Li Daong also glanced at them and said lightly, "It won't be that bad. Since you said that one of us is on the same side, this kind of thing won't happen. If it really happens, he deserves to be killed." Li Daong did not waste any more words, throwing out these two words with a murderous aura. This deputy commander of the military department was also a person who killed decisively. He understood the Yang family's intention. Even if they did, they would not make it public. Fang Ping nodded, but still said, "I can learn it." Li Daong chuckled. "Actually, the increase in combat strength is limited. It's not very useful. If you want to learn it, I'll give it to you later." "All right. Does anyone have any other questions?" "Commander, if we win, will there be a reward?" "The quota is the biggest reward. If I defeat my opponent, can I take his things?" Both of these questions were asked by Fang Ping. Li Daong had a slight headache. Motherf asterisk Kerr, which son of AB asterisk TCH, told him that Fang Ping had the demeanor of a leader. This bastard. Every question he asked was a headache. He wanted to kill the descendant of a paragon, wanted a reward, and wanted to take the spoils of war. With this, how could he have the demeanor of a leader? F asterisk CK off. Li Daong cursed in his heart, but he said, "Yes, of course, pay attention to your image. You can take some of his things in the process of defeating him. For example, in the process of fighting, you can take away the opponent's weapon, and then quickly defeat the opponent. At this time, the weapon is in your hands. If you don't care, you don't have to return it, but don't take the initiative to take it. Sino Nation is a big country. A big country should still have the bearing of a big country." Li Daong's words made everyone look dull. He really started a discussion with Fang Ping. Moreover, he was teaching others how to do it. He was not a good person either. Li Yiming looked at Fang Ping, then at Li Daong, and then scratched his head. There was such a saying. Should he do the same? Li Daong did not care about them. Similarly, he did not want to continue talking nonsense with Fang Ping. He said quickly, "If there are no more questions, then that's it. Everyone, have a good rest today, and tomorrow." "Commander, can we buy our lives with money?" Li Daong was just about to leave. He glanced at Fang Ping and frowned. "What do you mean?" Fang Ping smiled. "I'm not talking about me. Unless a rank 7 comes looking for me, I won't lose. What I mean is, if I defeat some opponents, can I force them to buy their lives with money?" Li Daong was slightly annoyed. "Stop talking nonsense. If you dare to do this in the arena, I'll tear you apart." That was not the way to embarrass oneself. Besides, the other party would not agree to it. Did he really think that he was a robber? Fang Ping coughed dryly. "I'm just asking. If you put it that way, of course I can't do it." "Don't be too confident. Don't think that you're invincible among rank 6 just because you can materialize mentality. Let me remind you, the other party may have some special combat techniques or weapons that can suppress your mentality. Star Town has such a combat technique. You've seen it yourself last time. There were some special materials that could isolate spiritual power. Once that happens, your mentality attack will be ineffective. Of course, this special material is extremely rare, but it's not like it doesn't exist. Although it can't defend against mentality attacks that are too powerful, you've just materialized it, so it's not too powerful. I'm afraid that even Star Town has such techniques." As soon as he said that, in the crowd, Jiang Chao looked left and right. Su Zissa looked embarrassed. Li Fei's eyebrows twitched slightly. When Fang Ping saw this, he was dumbfounded. Motherf asterisk Kerr. There was such a technique. There were 9 people in Star Town. These 3 guys who were moving probably had it. Li Daong was not surprised at all. It was normal for the descendants of the top to have some life-saving techniques. Otherwise, if they were not rank 7, They would be shocked to death when they encountered a rank 7. This kind of item or combat technique that could block mentality attacks was specially used to save their lives. They would not be killed before they could even speak when they encountered a rank 7. Of course, not everyone had it. In the huge star town, among the 13 aristocratic families, there were very few people who had this kind of life-saving item. Li Daong and the others came quickly and left just as quickly. As soon as they left, Fong Ping suddenly grabbed Jiang Chao. Jiang Chao looked helpless and whispered, "You can't snatch it from me. Fong Ping, this is my trump card. My grandfather said that if I lose this thing, he'll beat me to death. I can't lose anything even when I'm dead. If you dare to snatch it, my grandfather will definitely come looking for you. Not only my grandfather, but my elder ancestor will also come looking for you. This kind of item is very rare. It's a life-saving artifact for martial artists below rank 7. Fong Ping's expression darkened. Who's snatching it from you? Am I that kind of person? No, Jiang Chao said helplessly. It's not snatching. The key is that you can tell me. In the end, if I were to give it to you because of my stupidity, who would I be able to reason with? Fong Ping was speechless. He asked, can it really block a rank 7 mentality attack? It should be able to. Of course, it won't last long. This thing can be sustained for a while using vitality force, but if a rank 7 really wants to kill you, they won't just rely on mentality attacks. It can only be used to prevent being killed by mistake. For example, when rank 7 powerhouses fight, most of the time the pressure covers us. If we're in this situation, we can at least escape. The others might be crushed to death. Also, martial artists who have achieved mentality-vitality fusion have weak mentality. Relying on mentality to attack us definitely won't work. Fong Ping looked at him and glanced around. Jiang Chao knew what he was looking at. He shrugged and said, I didn't bring it with me. Ha. Fong Ping would be weird if he believed him. If this fatty was so afraid of death, would he not bring this kind of treasure with him? Really? That ancient city was in ruins. Some of the buildings were destroyed beyond recognition. Many of them were caused by the sealed boundary. But that broken tablet, other than the upper half that was cut off by someone, the lower half was intact. The last time Fong Ping triggered the sealed boundary, he immediately fled the place. If he was not mistaken, that broken tablet should be intact, and still there. It's a real priceless treasure. It's a pity I can't dig it out unless the sealed boundary is destroyed. Fong Ping looked regretful. He had planned to dig it out last time, but it was a pity that it was connected to the sealed boundary. Su Zis's bracelet was only so big. That broken tablet was more than 1,000 times bigger than hers. This time, Fong Ping really felt like vomiting blood. That thing might really be worth hundreds of billions or even trillions. Maybe Su Zissou and the others' life-saving items were related to it. Maybe it was made from the upper half of the broken tablet. Of course, Fong Ping suspected that other bounded domains also had such things. He wondered if it had been taken away by someone, or it could not be taken away at all. Fong Ping said no more. He took the bracelet from old Wang's hands, looking dispirited, and threw it to Su Zissou. It's not a big deal. I'm not someone who has never seen the world. Fong Ping looked like he did not care. Jiang Chao was puzzled. Didn't this guy love money? Why did he not even want to take a second look at this divine artifact? Wang Jinyong saw Fong Ping's sigh and knew what he was thinking. He laughed and said, Give up. That thing could not be taken away at all. We'll see. Fong Ping did not want to talk. He would have to move it sooner or later. Not only the broken tablet, but the heavenly palace too. Because of this, Fong Ping did not even have the mood to fool Li Yiming. He ignored them directly and began to let Fatty bring him to his room to rest. In his heart, however, he was thinking of getting a top-notch armor, the kind that covered the whole body. Then, inside the armor, he could fill a layer of inner armor made from the material of the broken tablet. Did this mean that even if he stood there and let a rank 7 hit him, he would not be able to kill him? Of course, rank 7 were not fools. They could take off his armor and beat him up. However, if he had this thing, he could dig a hole and bury himself next time. He could hide his aura. Even if a rank 8 or 9 powerhouse fought above him, they might not be able to kill him with the aftershock. It suits me too well. Fang Ping murmured softly. This kind of amazing armor was suitable for him. Otherwise, he would be almost killed by the aftershock like last time. Shaking his head, Fang Ping did not think about this. Beside him, Wang Jinyang did not think about this at all. Instead, he said with some regret, Yao Chengjun did not come out of closed-door cultivation. Looks like he will miss this opportunity. If a typical rank 7 powerhouse's mentality growth rate was 10, Fang Ping's was only 5, and Yao Qingjuan's was only 1. Using vitality to nurture mentality was something all high-ranked powerhouses could do. Mentality-vitality fusion was also possible, but Fang Ping and Yao Qingjun could not do it. As the two of them spoke, Yao Qingjun began to materialize. When the materialized object slowly appeared, the two grandmasters revealed slightly strange expressions. What is this? Although it was the dead of night, at their level, they could still see the objects in the air, no matter how dark they were. He did not instantiate a city like Fang Ping. Unlike ordinary people, they did not conjure ordinary weapons, demon beasts, or demon plants. A map of ruins appeared in midair. It wasn't that real, but gradually countless shadows appeared in the ruins. They could not see the faces of these shadows. They could not tell whether they were male or female. However, they could vaguely see two parties fighting and killing each other. Even if it was just a shadow, just an object materialized by Yao Qingjun, the two grandmasters could still feel the desperation and power. The ground cracked, the sky shattered, golden blood spread all over the void. What is this? Is this an ancient battlefield? Is this the future that Qingjun imagined? Or something that has already happened? The two grandmasters looked at each other, somewhat indescribably horrified. That materialized object was just a picture. Even so, both of them felt an incomparably huge pressure. Plucking the stars and the moon was nothing more than this. Very soon, the picture disappeared. In the next moment, what appeared in front of both of them was only a stretch of broken ruins. They could not see anything. They could not distinguish it. There were only ruins and broken walls. The materialized object seemed to be frozen just at this moment. It was a lifeless stretch of ruins without any signs of life. Everything that had happened before seemed like an illusion. The two grandmasters were still in shock. What was going on? Was it an illusion? However, both of them knew that it was not an illusion. That was really a war that happened, a war that countless powerhouses participated in. The sky collapsed, the earth cracked, and blood spilled in the sky. After an unknown period of time, Yao Qingjuan's greeting sounded in their ears. Principal, teacher. The two grandmasters had awakened. The man was Yao Qingjuan's teacher. The woman was the principal of the first military academy, a powerhouse who almost never appeared in front of the public. Even in the circle of grandmasters, she did not show her face much. Qingjun, the middle-aged man's expression was slightly strange. He said, "The previous materialization." There was also a strange look in the depths of Yao Qingjuan's eyes. He shook his head slightly and said, "I also don't know what happened, but maybe someone knows." Many people from Polaris City and the military department are participating. One more or one less doesn't matter. Beside her, the middle-aged man smiled bitterly. Vice Principal, this is not good. Moreover, they might not agree. They have no choice but to agree. The woman took a deep breath, paused, and said, among the 3 departments, only the Department of Investigation doesn't have a place. If it really doesn't work, I will go to the Department of Investigation. No matter how useless Nan Yunyue is, can't she even fight for a place? If that's the case, what's the point of her being a minister? As soon as she said this, the middle-aged man and Yao Chengjun looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Among the 3 ministers, 2 were paragons. Nan Yunyue was the only one who was not. Therefore, the Department of Investigation was the weakest among the 3 departments. The military department mainly fought and guarded the catacombs. The Department of Education controlled all martial arts universities in the world. Martial arts universities were also the main force in conquering the catacombs. There were countless grandmasters. As for the Department of Investigation, they were only in charge of some martial arts disputes on the ground. They killed some evil sect martial artists and arrested some martial artists who committed crimes. Most of them were in the 3 lower ranks. Among the 3 departments, the Department of Investigation was the weakest. However, as one of the 3 departments, Nan Yunyue was known as the number 1 person below the paragons. She had killed a lot of rank, 9 powerhouses. She was not a weakling. If she really wanted to go crazy, no one could suppress her except for the paragons. The female vice-chancellor of FMS wanted to find Nan Yunyue, not the military department or the education department. The reason was that she and Nan Yunyue were sisters. However, she was the elder sister. Nan Yunyue was the younger sister. The relationship between the 2 sisters was not very good. They were both strong-willed people. However, she was only a rank 8 now. Nan Yunyue had been a rank 9 for many years. The gap in martial arts realm also caused her to be unwilling to bow down to Nan Yunyue. However, in order to let Yao Chengjun achieve rank 7 as soon as possible, she did not care anymore. Yao Chengjun's mentality materialized. However, the Sanjiao Gate was not sealed. Who knew how many years it would take? On Earth, there was no way to seal the Sanjiao Gate quickly. However, in the restricted area, many people could seal the gate quickly. Some people could achieve mentality-vitality fusion in the blink of an eye. Those who entered quickly achieved Grandmaster within a year or 2. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The female vice-chancellor was not willing to give it up. Vice-chancellor, I'm only a rank 5. Idiot! The female vice-chancellor scolded directly. She said rudely, they didn't stipulate that you must be a rank 6. Besides, if you say you're a rank 5, I insist that you're a rank 6. If I say you're a rank 7, how can they prove that you're a rank 5? Can a rank 5 mentality materialize? When women were unreasonable, there was no way to reason with them, especially powerhouses like the female vice-chancellor. Moreover, the female vice-chancellor had also grasped one point. What rank was mentality materialization? Right now, it was fine to say that Yao Chengjun was a rank 5. It was also fine to say that he was half a rank 7. Since the vice-chancellor had already said so, Yao Chengjun did not say anything else. In reality, he was also a little impatient. He wanted to find Fang Ping and ask him what was going on. When he materialized, was the scene real or fake? Why did it disappear? Would it appear again in the future? Since such a scene had appeared in the materialized object, it should still exist. However, Yao Chengjun realized that the current him could no longer materialize this scene. He did not know if it was because his mentality was not strong enough. June 2nd, Capital City, Martial Arts Association. The others adjusted and cultivated, but Fong Ping did not go into closed-door cultivation. He had enough closed-door cultivation these few days. He was not in the mood to do this. Martial Arts Association, in a big office. Fong Ping was like a leader patrolling left and right. The others were silent out of fear, one by one lowering their heads and working seriously. Fong Ping watched for a while and said again, "It's just changing a title. Isn't it just a matter of moving a finger? You guys can't do it. Let me do it myself." General Frenzied Blade. A junior leader had just said this when he noticed Fong Ping glaring at him. He immediately looked helpless and corrected himself. "General Fong, the Martial Arts Association is only responsible for the regular updates and operations of the ranking list. We can't change the issue of the title." "Do you think I believe that?" Fong Ping's face was full of disbelief. The other party said helplessly again, "It's true. Why don't you ask the two presidents? We have no right to change it." "I'm not going." Fong Ping shook his head. He was not a match for the two grandmasters. It would be a waste if he went. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong was the right way. As they were talking, Li Hansong hurried over and said quickly, "Old Yao is here. Fong Ping, go take a look." "Old Yao is here?" Fong Ping was a little surprised. He quickly said to the junior leader, "The next time you update the ranking list, make sure to change my title. Otherwise, I'll find trouble with the Martial Arts Association sooner or later." After saying that, Fong Ping left in a hurry. As soon as he left, everyone in the office breathed a sigh of relief. Someone could not help but laugh. "I think the title Frenzied Blade suits General Fong quite well. Other things aside, just yesterday when he first came here, that blood saber. Isn't that crazy enough? He wants to be the Frenzied Blade King, Saber King, Saber Emperor. It's not because of the Frenzied Blade." Someone laughed bitterly. "But calling himself a king at rank 6 is too much. This is the first time I've seen someone argue with us because of a title. In so many years, General Frenzied Blade is probably the first powerhouse to barge into our office and force us to change our titles. He's just short of holding a knife to our necks." Before he finished, the junior leader suddenly scolded in a low voice, "Who said he's just short of holding a knife to our necks? This bastard," cough, "the mentality saber that General Fong just condensed is circling around my head. What do you guys know?" Although his mentality had not been released, he was still a peak rank 5 martial artist. Just now, when Fong Ping condensed his mentality into a knife to scare him, he felt it. As soon as he said that, someone could not help but laugh softly. "How about we change his title to Exploding King? He has an explosive temper and does things in an explosive manner. I heard that he blew up all the way to the Nanjiang Catacombs and Tiananmen Catacombs. Forget it. If you're not afraid that he'll blow you up, change it." The junior leader did not know whether to laugh or cry. But then again, if he really reaches Grandmaster level, he really needs to change it. It's best if it's a single title. As soon as he said that, many people raised their eyebrows slightly. Single titles were exclusive to top-notch powerhouses. Moreover, they were exclusive to those who had hopes of becoming rank 9 powerhouses. For example, many rank 9 powerhouses had single titles. It was the same for some rank 8 powerhouses, such as Wu Quishan, Snake King. Even if Tang Feng achieved rank 7, he was still a mad lion. However, when he achieved rank 8, he might become Lion King. Among humanity's top powerhouses, the old antiques aside, Zhang Tao and Li Jun also had single titles. It was clear that powerhouses with single titles were highly valued and recognized. But thinking about it, it seemed normal. How old was Fong Ping? Was it not normal for him to have hopes of achieving rank 9? No one brought this up again. Even if they changed it, it was not up to them. While the people in the Martial Arts Association were discussing, Fong Ping had already arrived at the central square yesterday. At this moment, the atmosphere at the central square was not very good. Yao Chengjun stood behind a middle-aged woman. The woman had her hands behind her back, her brows raised high. Deputy Commander, is FMS raised by a stepmother? We are under the jurisdiction of both the military department and the education department. Logically, we are more qualified to participate in this competition. Why can't Yao Chengjun? The Department of Investigation Services has also signed a note. Why must Nan Yunyue come here to testify? Li Daong said with a slight headache, Vice Chancellor Nan, the competition is tomorrow. You want us to change people at this time. Tell me, what do you want me to do? The 8 people from the central government and the military department were selected after countless selections. Beside him, a level 9 expert from Star City had also come this time. Su Howren smiled faintly and said, Vice Chancellor Nan, Star City has already given up a lot of places this time. Currently, there are only 9 places left. Previously, we gave Yao Chengjun a place, but it was later filled up by the military department. So if you want to fight, it has nothing to do with Star City. The female vice chancellor glanced at Su Howren. After some thought, she decided to give up on Star City. Star City had indeed given up most of the places this year. They did not even occupy half of the places. If they were to eliminate their people now, who would be eliminated? Eliminate Su Zissou? Su Howren would definitely not agree to it. Eliminate 2 people from the Yang family? These 2 people were the unanimous decision of Star City's top powerhouses to give them as compensation. This compensation was actually to appease the Yang family's many powerhouses who had fallen. They could not be snatched away. If that was the case, they could only look for the military department. At this time, Li Yiming said casually in the crowd, Isn't this easy? I think from the martial arts universities, Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong might not be much. They are only middle stage rank, 6. Let Yao Chengjun fight with them once. Why must they look for the military department? As for Fong Ping, Li Yiming did not mention him. Li Yiming only cared about strength. Fong Ping was very violent. If they really fought, he might not be a match for him. As for the other 2 people, he still did not think much of them. Yao Chengjun, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, I challenge you. If you have the guts, then come out and fight. If your strength is not enough, I naturally won't force you to join. I don't have the face to do so. You want to challenge me? Ha ha ha. Li Yiming was laughing so hard that he almost lost his mind. What kind of joke was this? Was this guy crazy? He wanted to challenge him? He, a rank 5 martial artist, wanted to challenge him, a peak rank 6, and a top powerhouse among peak rank 6. Do you dare? What a joke. Li Yiming was arrogant to the extreme. He was also confident to the extreme. He said immediately, Fine. If you insist on snatching the military department's quota, then you're making things difficult for me. You're the one who's arrogant enough to challenge me. I have no reason to refuse. As he said that, Li Yiming chuckled and said, 1 sword. I'll defeat you with 1 sword. Yao Chengjun said without batting an eyelid, So you agree? Of course. As soon as he finished speaking, Yao Chengjun's spear pierced through the air. This spear pierced through the air directly, piercing toward Li Yiming's chest. Li Yiming let out a cold humph. He did not move at all. He said casually, Come, I'll let you stab me. If you stab me to death, I'll consider you great. Boom. A loud explosion was heard. Li Yiming did not move at all. Both his legs sank deep into the ground. A muffled sound came from his chest, but there were no signs of injury. He chuckled and said, "You're just one of us. I'll let you attack first. I'll stand still and let you hit me. You might not even—" He wore the best inner armor today, mainly to protect his internal organs. Could Yao Chengjun penetrate his defense? Li Yiming was just about to boast when his expression changed abruptly. He scolded quickly, F***CK. Are all of you forcing me? Must you force me to wear that 10-caddy no-break chain of mine? As soon as he said that, Fang Ping, who was watching the battle, could not help but laugh. A tycoon is a tycoon. This guy is interesting. The so-called no-break chain was a chain made of the kind of material that could isolate mentality. 10-caddy. The chain was probably not thin. Li Yiming did not wear it, probably because he thought that thing was too ugly, making it look like a big gold chain. As he spoke, Fang Ping glanced at Yao Chengjun. Old Yao's mentality had materialized. No wonder he dared to challenge him. At this moment, Yao Chengjun did not materialize anything. However, his long spear seemed to have something like a protective film rising. At this time, the long spear struck Li Yiming. It was no longer attacking his body, but it was cutting his mentality. Li Yiming's expression was pained, but he was also extremely furious. As he cursed, Li Yiming was really angry. Just as Yao Chengjun was still attacking, Li Yiming let out a roar, shouting, "Eternal Night Sword!" As soon as he said that, the sky and the earth changed color. It was still daytime earlier. The next moment, it was as if night had come. In the void, a sword shadow was as fast as lightning, heading straight for Yao Chengjun's head. Yao Chengjun's expression changed drastically too. With a muffled roar, the long spear was like a dragon, emitting the roar of a ferocious beast. A spear glow materialized from mentality, struck out instantly. Rumble! The void shook. At this moment, Li Daong, who had not spoken earlier, suddenly made his move. A giant hand that covered the sky covered the place where both of them were fighting, extinguishing everything in an instant. Yao Chengjun and Li Yiming's faces turned pale, taking a few steps back. Li Daong did not care about this. He frowned slightly, thought for a while, looked at the 4 upper stage rank 6 military department martial artists beside him, sighing softly. "Hu Ming, you should withdraw." Among the 4 of them, a short military department martial artist was silent for a moment. Very quickly, he said solemnly, "Yes." This time, Li Yiming did not say anything else. He only cursed in a low voice. "Motherf***, what the hell is this? Anyone can materialize mentality. Didn't they say that there are no specialized cultivation methods for mentality?" As he said that, he added, "I'll have to wear the big chain." Li Yiming felt that he really could not be careless. Previously, he felt that even a martial artist who had fused with essence and blood would not be able to harm him with their mental strength. His vitality force was enough to disperse mentality attacks. If a mentality-vitality fusion martial artist wanted to use mentality to attack him, they would have to be careful of becoming an idiot. But now he was a human, and he was able to materialize his spiritual power. Fang Ping was the first. All right, he would treat it as an accident. It was only the second day, and another one had materialized. Moreover, it was a rank 5 materialization. He could not reason with it anymore. Li Yiming was still nagging. Yao Chengjun bowed slightly at Li Daong, then flashed an apologetic smile at the military department martial artist who had withdrawn. Then he quickly walked up to Fang Ping, looking at Fang Ping with a complicated gaze, not saying a word. Fang Ping was dumbfounded. What do you want? This guy? Why was he looking at him with such a complicated gaze out of the blue? What did he mean? Resentment? Admiration? Admiration? Forget it. Fong Ping really could not decipher the meaning. Just as he gave up trying to decipher it, Yao Qingjun seemed to be a little bitter. His tone was extremely complicated as he asked softly, "General conquering the South, is it true?" At this moment, 10,000 crows flew across Fong Ping's mind. What the hell? Wang Jinyang was even more thunderstruck, like 5 thunderbolts had struck him. Mother asterisk cur, am I hearing things? Yao Chengjun came all of a sudden to ask such a question. His mouth was asking if it was true, but his expression was obviously saying, "General conquering the South is here to report for duty." Chapter 544. Fong Ping had an innocent look on his face. "I really didn't say anything this time. Old Yao came here to acknowledge us as relatives all of a sudden. What should I do? I'm panicking." Fortunately, someone helped him. Li Hansong grinned and said, "Old Yao, it's true. And this time, you don't know that we even went to your enemy's house." Cough, cough. Fong Ping coughed lightly. Li Hansong came to his senses and laughed immediately. "I'll tell you when the time comes. It's very interesting anyway. I thought you were going into closed-door cultivation and missed this opportunity. I didn't expect you to come at this time. Us brothers can finally join forces and fight again." Yao Qingjun asked and did not speak anymore. At this moment, he stood at the side in extreme silence. Fong Ping wanted to say a few words, but he had nothing to say in the end. He patted Yao Qingjun's shoulder. Yao Qingjun did not care. At the side, Wang Jinyang continued to look at the sky, not saying anything that was even more unbelievable than talking nonsense. Forget it. He would pretend that he could not hear or see. In the future, he would be deaf and blind. Otherwise, he would be finished sooner or later. These people were discussing in low voices. On the other side, the Grand Masters confirmed the new quota. Yao Chengjuan's mentality materialized. Although the attack he used against Li Yiming earlier was extinguished by Li Daong as a Grand Master, he could feel that Yao Chengjun was extremely powerful. He might not be more powerful than Li Yiming, but he had at least the combat strength of a typical peak rank 6 martial artist. In addition, Nan Yunhua had also spoken. Li Daong could not say anything. In fact, this quota was prepared for Yao Qingjun. The Grand Masters had always come and gone quickly. The Grand Masters disappeared again. This time, the others were not in the mood to go into closed-door cultivation. Li Yiming walked over. He stared at Fong Ping, then at Yao Qingjun. Finally, he looked at Li Hansong and Wang Jinyang, rubbing his chin. "Both of you, have you materialized your mentality?" "No." Li Hansong shook his head. Li Yiming breathed a sigh of relief. Then he said, "Have you achieved a golden body?" "No." "Can you achieve rank 7 in one night?" "No." That's good, that's good." Li Yiming heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that he didn't have to eat his words anymore. He said he could defeat Yao Qingjun with one sword. He said he would beat Fong Ping up, but he did not do it. Li Yiming, had also fought in the midst of an army of 10,000, killing people like cutting grass. Why didn't he have a smooth journey here? Seeing that he was relieved, Fong Ping smiled. "Brother Yiming, we're all on the same side. It doesn't matter who's stronger or weaker." As he spoke, Fong Ping patted his shoulder. Li Yiming instinctively wanted to move away, but he felt that there was no need to be timid, so he did not. Fong Ping, on the other hand, gave it a pat and raised his eyebrows slightly. Good stuff. It was really good stuff. Was this the inner armor of the impasse realm? His actual strength was not small. It looked like he did not use much strength when he slapped, but in fact, his strength was enormous. But even so, it did not cause any damage to Li Yiming. peerless leather armor. Could it be that Li Jun has killed peerless demons before? Or Fong Ping felt a little disgusted as he thought about it. Could it be that Li Jun killed the catacombs' apex and skinned them? It shouldn't be that bad, right? He had never heard of Li Jun killing a venerable end demon before. Li Jun's most famous battle was when he fought against 3 rank 9s by himself. The rank 9s who came from the restricted zone were all catacombs humans. As for his other battle achievements, Fong Ping was really not sure. Logically, even if Li Jun had the ability to kill a peerless demon, he would not do it. Otherwise, if a peerless demon fell, would the catacombs not start a war? Then where did this peerless leather armor come from? Also, could Li Jun's combat strength reach the level where he could kill a peerless demon? Fong Ping thought of many things. He did not say anything else. He glanced at Li Yiming, thought for a while, and said, "Your eternal night sword." Li Yiming said casually, "I just made up a name. What's wrong with that?" Wang Jinyong glanced at Fong Ping, then at Li Yiming. The others did the same. They looked at each other. Was this not Fong Ping's style? Li Yiming continued, "It's a martial arts competition. I just make up random names. Sometimes I call it the Eternal Night Sword, but I don't actually use my sword. I'm just bluffing my opponent. These are all tricks. You guys are still young, so you probably don't understand. Don't feel ashamed. In the catacombs, saving your life and killing your enemies is the most important thing." Li Yiming was also a veteran in the catacombs. He had a lot of experience. He explained his experience to everyone with a smile. To sum it up, don't be too concerned about your pride. If you can survive and kill your enemies, then you are a real man. As if afraid that they would not be able to put down their pride, Li Yiming continued, "Let me tell you a secret. Sometimes when you meet an opponent you can't defeat, it's okay to admit defeat. Don't be stubborn and refuse to admit defeat. If you get killed, then you'll have nothing left." Do you know what that means? Sometimes the catacombs' powerhouses are like idiots. If you yell, "Admit defeat," pretend to be a coward, they might just ignore you. Really? I tried it once before. You don't say, "There was an idiot rank 7 who took it right over my head." He didn't even say a word. Just because of this, I even went to every department to give a speech. Fong Ping's expression was so strange that it was frightening. If that's the case, you're the lucky one who escaped by a fluke, and you even gave a speech everywhere. Does this mean that the words that old man Li taught me back then came from you? Never in a million years would I have thought. No wonder, old man. Li felt that there was hope to save his life. It turned out that there was a precedent. When he thought of the time when he first entered the catacombs, he did not know anything. When he met the catacombs' martial artists, he yelled this sentence. Fong Ping was instantly overwhelmed with shame. Top secret. Those who knew about it were all killed. He was not as thick-skinned as Li Yiming. He actually went around telling it. Li Yiming might have said that, but in the end, he still said seriously, "That's the only way to escape. When we meet a powerhouse we can't defeat. However, when we meet a martial artist of the same rank, we have to fight even if we can't kill him. We can't embarrass ourselves. You guys are still young. There are many things you don't understand." Li Yiming was acting like a big brother. Fong Ping wanted to say, "I've done what you said countless times. I'm too lazy to beat you up. Otherwise, what you said is really child's play." After chatting for a while, everyone dispersed. After waiting for Li Yiming to leave, Li Hansong curled his lips and said, "This guy talks a lot of nonsense. He acts like he wants to be the big brother. Fong Ping, don't you have any ideas?" Fong Ping chuckled. "What ideas? He wants to be the big brother. Sure, give each of us a set of peerless inner armor first, then a divine weapon, and then a treasure that can block mentality. if we can really do it. So what if we become the little brother? If we become the little brother, we can still use the tiger skin of another peerless powerhouse in the future. Together with Minister Zhang, on the surface, the two strongest peerless powerhouses are protecting us now. We can do whatever we want. In Sino Nation, who won't give us some face? After making a joke, Fong Ping looked at Yao Chengjun, frowning slightly. Mentality materialization. What did you materialize? Ruins. Yao Chengjun's words were concise and comprehensive. After thinking for a while, he added, the ruins of a great battle where countless powerhouses fought. In the end, the powerhouses disappeared, leaving only ruins. Fong Ping roughly understood. Li Hansong, on the other hand, was surprised. The scene of a great battle between powerhouses? Old Yao, your obsession is really deep. Looks like even though you've died once, you haven't forgotten that last battle for the rest of your life. Fong Ping had said before that in the last battle that year, all the heavenly court powerhouses had fallen. They were matched again. Fong Ping was speechless when he heard that. He looked at the sky. I'm really just spouting nonsense. Of course, it was actually a very simple matter. If powerhouses had really died, it would only be because a great battle had erupted. There seemed to be no other reason. Could it be that they had died of old age? Therefore, this sentence worked on everyone. If he had the guts, ask Fong Ping to describe the details. Like their generation, powerhouses had also died in great battles when they died. Years later, if a modern martial artist was resurrected and someone told him that a great battle had happened that year and all of them had fallen, there was nothing wrong with that. Iron Head insisted on substituting himself. I can't do anything about it. Fong Ping criticized in his heart. He was actually not surprised that Yao Chengjun had materialized the scene of a great battle. What was surprising was that old Yao's obsession was really deep. Also, who had he fought and died? He guessed that this scene that was materialized should be something that happened in his past life. But who was his opponent? Catacombs martial artists? Why did they fight then? These had now become the past and could not be traced back. When Wang Jinyang heard this, he thought for a while and said, if we materialize it, will there be any difference? I don't know. We'll have to make a trip to Star City sooner or later. Fong Ping glanced at the people in Star City who had already left and said in a low voice, I can go, but you have to be at least rank 7 or 8. In Star City, I don't care about others, but the Yang family doesn't like me. They still have a rank 8 in their family. If I'm in their territory, they might cause trouble for me. Li Hansong's gaze turned cold instantly. He snorted coldly. The Yang family? How dare they? That one from the Yang family. Old Qin said that he knelt there. He barged into our house for no reason and took without asking. That's robbery. Shut up. Wang Jinyang scolded directly, saying angrily, if you say such nonsense again, do you believe that I won't kill you? Li Hansong, I'm warning you. Next time, don't say such things in front of me. I'm annoyed when I hear it now. Li Hansong looked innocent. What did I do? Did I say anything wrong? That was his friend's house. The Yang family's old ancestor barged into his friend's house and died there. In Li Hansong's opinion, there must be evil intentions. At least he and Qin Fengqin would be fine if they went. A peerless powerhouse actually died. Maybe he went in to confiscate the house. However, old Wang was angry. Li Hansong could only shut up reluctantly. Fong Ping did not say anything. Li Hansong's words gave him a headache too. Motherf asterisk Kerr. This guy was so convinced now that he was embarrassed to say anything more. He had been thinking about whether he would be beaten to death one day. And the guy who beat him to death was Li Hansong. Among the three of them, Yao Chengjun, he did not lie to him. Old Wang did not really believe him. Li Hansong, this guy combined his own experience and fell into it step by step. He believed in everything with great determination. If one day he found out that Fang Ping was lying to him, would he be satisfied if he did not beat Fang Ping to death? I still have to improve my ability as soon as possible. There are still external enemies and hidden dangers on the inside. Iron Head is like a bag of dynamite. If one day he unexpectedly punches me in the head, I won't be able to reason with him. On the second, everyone talked and chatted, and time passed quickly. June 3rd, the day the youth tournament officially began. Early in the morning, everyone gathered at the central square. Li Daong frowned. He did not look at the young people, but at a figure on the roof not far away. What was this guy doing here? On the roof, Old Man Li was like a statue, motionless. He did not communicate with them, nor did he greet the grandmasters. After this guy arrived last night, he had been standing on the roof, ignoring everyone. No matter who went to ask questions, he ignored them. Of course, he did talk to a few people, such as the president of the Martial Arts Association. When the president went, Old Man Li only said, "Change the ranking, or I'll kill you with a sword." When he said that, the president almost vomited blood in anger. Is everyone in MCMU like this? Powerhouses, can't you be more magnanimous? That bastard Fang Ping went to ask someone to change the title yesterday. This bastard came and asked to change the ranking. How free are you guys? The president of the Martial Arts Association was so angry that he could not be bothered with him. If he wanted to pretend to be a statue, then continue to pretend. Let's see how long he could pretend. Li Daong glanced at Li Changsheng and did not bother with him anymore. Beside him, Su Haoren was somewhat helpless. Li Changsheng was pretending to be a statue, but that was not true. His aura was always locked onto one person. It was not him. It was a rank, 8 powerhouse next to him. This rank, 8 powerhouse's face was extremely dark, and he was extremely annoyed. Li Changsheng was aggressive. His aura was extremely strong, and his murderous intent was boiling. It was as if he would attack in the next moment and kill him with a sword. Bastard! If it wasn't for elder ancestors' fall and big brother's death in battle, this wouldn't have happened. This time, the Yang family sent 2 peak rank, 6 martial artists to participate in the youth competition. If they got the quota, perhaps 2 rank, 7 powerhouses would be born soon. Today, the Yang family's powerhouses had all fallen. Only 2 high-ranked martial artists, him and Yang Qing, were left. If there were 2 more, there would be 4 grandmasters holding the fort. Although they did not have the combat strength of Paragon or rank 9, it was not too bad. He also attached great importance to this matter. He rushed over personally to ensure that they got the quota. Among the descendants of Paragon, there were 2 peak rank 6. This was not a weak force. Unfortunately, his family's ancestor had fallen. He was afraid that the ones who attacked the Yang family were not the descendants of Paragon, but martial artists similar to Sino Nation's military department. It was not only Sino Nation who had the same idea. Everyone else had the same idea. On Sino Nation's side, martial arts universities, the government, including the 2 from the Yang family, were the real targets of all parties. In order to ensure that they got the quota, he did mention to the 2 of them that when it came to the last minute, the martial arts universities would be their targets if the others were not easy to deal with. However, who knew that MCMAU would actually send Li Changsheng? What did this mean? A martial artist whose vitality is constantly fading. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? The Yang family's rank, 8 snorted coldly in his heart. What an arrogant fellow. He was also a rank 8 powerhouse. If they really fought, even if he was not Li Changxing's opponent, as long as he dragged it out for a while, this fellow could exhaust himself to death. What was there to be arrogant about? Just as everyone was deep in thought, Li Daong suddenly said, "They're here. Everyone, as the host, go and welcome them." After saying that, more than 10 grandmasters present walked toward the main entrance of the Martial Arts Association. This time, there were many grandmasters on Sino Nation's side holding the line. Rank 9 Li Daong, Rank 9 Su Haoren, Rank 8 President of the Martial Arts Association, FMS Vice Chancellor, Minister Wang of the Ministry of Education, Rank 8 Young Family. If Old Man, Li was counted as a Rank 8, then there were 5 Rank 8s, 2 Rank 9s, 5 Rank 8s, and 7 to 8 Rank 7 Grandmasters. Sino Nation also attached great importance to this competition. The number of quotas they obtained meant the number of grandmasters they could add in a short period of time. Even if half of them died or were injured, there would still be half more grandmaster powerhouses in the quota. The quota battle that was held once every 3 years was a chance to quickly increase the number of grandmaster powerhouses. Every country would not give up such an opportunity. The grandmasters left, while Fang Ping and the others stayed where they were. Outside the Martial Arts Association, a few buses stopped slowly. Some people got off the buses one after another. There were white people and black people. As soon as these people got off, they looked at each other. Very soon, someone said loudly, "Luo Sayas, how dare you claim to be invincible in rank 6? I've never had the chance before. Today, I'd like to see for myself." The person who spoke did not have dark skin. Instead, he looked more like an Asian. He held a scepter in his hand and wore a blue crown on his head. At this moment, his vitality was soaring, and he looked extremely domineering. Luo Sayas, who was called out by him, was a Caucasian with blonde hair and green eyes. He carried an incomparably huge broadsword on his back. Perhaps it was more appropriate to call it a door plank. The martial artist holding the scepter came from the Wanta world. Right now, he was also speaking in Mandarin. When they came to Sino Nation, everyone used Mandarin to communicate with the outside world. For martial artists, learning a language was not too difficult. It was easier to learn than the catacombs language. Hearing the scepter martial artist's provocation, Luo Sayas said calmly, "Carmen, of course, you and I will have the chance to fight. But not now. Don't forget about business." "Of course. Don't worry. I'll give you a chance." The man with the scepter, Carmen, said loudly with a face full of confidence, "Sino Nation's martial arts powerhouses. There are no martial artists in this generation that are worthy of my attention. The strength of the ancestors does not mean that this generation is strong. This time, Sino Nation will not get 10 quotas." These words were also said loudly in front of everyone, even though there were many Sino Nation grandmasters walking toward him. However, Carmen did not care. Every time the youth tournament was held, Sino Nation was the main target of all parties. There was no other reason. Sino Nation had the most people. In order to make Sino Nation get fewer quotas, the other 5 parties would attack Sino Nation first every time to test their strength and defeat some people striving to make Sino Nation get the least number of quotas. In the past, Sino Nation could get about 10 quotas in every tournament. Even if half of them survived, it meant that Sino Nation would have an additional 5 grandmaster powerhouses in a short period of time. Of course, there were not many of these 5 in Stellar Sky City. After so many years, although Stellar Sky City had gotten quite a number of quotas, the number of survivors was not as many as the government and the military department. This was also the reason why Jiang Chao kept pulling Fang Ping to protect him. When the people from Stellar Sky City went to the restricted area, there would be heavy casualties. At that time, others would not spare you just because your ancestor was powerful. First, they would target Sino Nation, then they would kill each other for quotas. This was the consensus. This time, however, the martial artists from Sino Nation who participated in the tournament seemed to be weaker than the previous tournaments. There was only one person who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion, and 8 people who were peak rank 6. This was not a small number. However, there were still a few middle stage rank 6 martial artists below them. This was really too many, and it also gave the other parties an opportunity. Before Carmen and Rosaisa's conversation ended, someone laughed in awkward Mandarin and said, "The World Martial Arts Association should publish a global rank, 6 ranking. In the God ranking, Sino Nation has the most martial artists, but they are all old people. Maybe we should publish a youth ranking. That would be fair." That's right, we should publish a youth ranking. Only then can we prove the new generation of martial artists. And which party is the best in nurturing? The old people are strong, but that doesn't mean the new generation is strong. These foreigners spoke one after another. Their words conveyed the same meaning. Sino Nation's older generation martial artists were strong, but the new generation was not. They were all living off their previous achievements. The older powerhouses beside them did not interrupt them. They all wore smiles on their faces. Martial artists, especially young martial artists, should be like this. If they did not dare to compete and fight just because the older generation was strong, then how could they surpass them? Foreign enemies were foreign enemies, but there was no force that did not want to be stronger. The more powerhouses in Sino Nation, the more power they had. However, now that the powerhouses did not appear, the older generation had also lost the will to compete as they grew older. However, the younger generation should be like the rising sun, full of confidence. Sino Nation, which had the most martial artists, was the stepping stone for the major forces. The younger generation could step on the younger generation of Sino Nation's younger generation martial artists to rise. Only then could they be confident, ignore the pressure, and advance by leaps and bounds. Not far away, Sino Nation's grandmasters did not care either. It was just shouting slogans. They could not shout them. Every time, these guys had to do this. After so many years, everyone had long gotten used to it. They only hoped that when they finally left, they could still be so confident. That would be called unyielding. Since everyone is here, then let's get ready to start the competition. The powerhouses did not want to waste time. Now that the situation was unstable, it was already not easy for everyone to take the time to organize a competition. Every family had 3 or 4 grandmasters, and the least had 1 or 2. Almost all of them had a rank, 9 holding the fort. Chapter 545. In the central square. Fong Ping chuckled. Very arrogant. This place was less than a kilometer away from the front. The weakest among them was a middle-stage rank 6 martial artist. How many of them could not hear what the foreigners were saying? Du Hong said softly, "Rosais is from the Hall of Gods, and he's at the Blood and Essence Unity realm. Don't underestimate him." He was known as the invincible rank 6, but it was not self-proclaimed. It was publicly acknowledged. At the very least, in both Europe and America, Rosais was recognized as the number 1 rank 6. 2 months ago, in the catacombs, he had killed a powerhouse who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion with 3 swords. He was even hailed as the new god of war. Rosais isn't a descendant of the god of war, but he is acknowledged by the Hall of Gods as the new god of war. Fong Ping interrupted, "Even the god's heaven isn't as powerful as Stellar Sky City. Why doesn't Stellar Sky City have such martial artists?" Beside him, Zhang Nanqi felt that Fong Ping had underestimated Star City. He could not help but say, "There are more people in heaven of gods than we do." Moreover, it's held once every 3 years, so time passes by very quickly. Star City doesn't have to perform mentality-vitality fusion every 3 years. But for the previous few sessions, we did have them. Big Brother Jiang was one of the best among them. Big Brother Jiang was not even 30 years old this year. 3 years ago, he defeated many powerhouses who had fused with their blood and essence and obtained a spot. After entering the restricted zone, he was now a middle stage rank 7 powerhouse. Moreover, Big Brother Jiang had 2 divine weapons in his hands. One of the divine weapons was forged by him after killing a level 7 demonic beast. Although Luo Sai is strong, he is still much weaker than Big Brother Jiang. Beside him, Su Zissou also said with admiration, "That's right, my brother is the same. 6 years ago, he participated in the youth tournament, and no one was his match. Now he has also entered upper stage rank 7 and is preparing to forge a golden body." Li Fei immediately added, "Over the past 10 years, Star Town has produced many young powerhouses, including Yang Qing from the Yang family. In fact, there were more geniuses in recent years compared to the previous years. However, there were periods of prosperity and periods of decline. The population was here, and there was a term every 3 years. Most of the time, Stellar Sky City might not even be able to gather 10 people for a term. There was a period of time when Stellar Sky City gave up almost all of its spots to the government because there were too few people." Fang Ping grinned. "If that's the case, this batch of yours is considered a weak period?" Everyone was speechless. Jiang Chao said carelessly, "You can say that, but it's not too bad. There were a few batches where there were quite a few early-stage rank 6 who got a spot. At least there aren't any early-stage rank 6 this time." With that, Jiang Chao added, "By the way, the other 5 families don't actually restrict people from their families. We don't restrict them either. For example, didn't General Du participate? They only managed to gather so many people even with the power of the entire country. It's already not bad that we managed to gather so many people with the power of our country. In short, the people of Saturn City didn't want to admit that they were weak. They just wanted to prove that they were in a period of weakness." Du Hong didn't reply and continued, "Ka Meng, a top-notch rank 6 fighter from the world of 10,000 pagodas, mentality-vitality fusion. He's known as the number 1 rank 6 in Africa. Previously, he exchanged 3 moves with a rank 7 catacombs martial artist and retreated unscathed. He's extremely powerful." At this point, Fang Ping suddenly looked at him and said with a smile, "General Du, let's not talk about others. What about you? You've been entrusted with an important task by the military department and even become the team leader this time. I'm more interested in General Du's battle achievements." Du Hong smiled. Beside him, Li Yiming said lazily, "I'm not sure about Du Hong's combat strength, but some time ago, this fellow led an army of 10,000 martial artists in the 3 lower ranks and annihilated an army of 30,000 people in a catacomb city. Among them, there were many middle ranks. With that, he damaged the foundation of the other party. Now, they've even put up a bounty, hanging it directly on the royal city. Kill Du Hong, and the reward is 100 caddies of energy stones. Many high ranks are looking for him." Fang Ping was a little surprised when he heard that. "I didn't expect General Du to have such a battle achievement. This is much more impressive than killing some powerhouses alone." Du Hong smiled and shook his head. "General Fang, let's not talk about these things. Compared to you, I'm too far behind. You've annihilated a royal city. Not at all. That was also fate. An army of 30,000 people, even if they were placed there for me to kill alone. I'd still have to spend an hour or so." The first half of his sentence was fine, but when he said the second half, everyone's expression turned a little strange. Was he being modest? Not really. The others did not want to say anything. Li Yiming, on the other hand, was a little displeased. Do you really think an army battle is that simple? An army of 30,000 martial artists can exhaust you to death. Fong Ping smiled without saying a word. He did not continue this topic. Sensing that the people in front were about to arrive, Fong Ping suddenly looked around. It was a pity that old Qin was not here. It was a pity that Iron Head was an idiot. He could not understand the look in his eyes. It was a pity that the others were all idiots. No one supported him. How could they tolerate a foreigner being so arrogant? The next moment, Fong Ping saw Jiang Chao. His gaze sharpened instantly. I'll choose you, fatty. Whether you can understand what I mean or not, it's up to you. If you don't understand, then I won't cover for an idiot. Jiang Chao's scalp tingled under Fong Ping's gaze. Suddenly, a light bulb went off in his head. In the next second, Jiang Chao suddenly roared, "Frog in a well! If Fong Ping doesn't appear, who dares to call themselves the top rank, 6 in the world? Ridiculous!" Everyone was stunned. Zissou suddenly pinched his arm hard. Embarrassing. Embarrassing bastard. You're from Star Town, okay? Even if she thought that Fong Ping was quite powerful, she still had to suck up to him in front of so many people and all the other holy lands in the world. Don't you have any shame? Is Star Town shameless? Jiang Chao's words not only stunned everyone present, but the grandmasters from Sino Nation were also speechless. That was not enough. Jiang Chao did not care about that. He roared again, "I've been practicing martial arts for 2 years, and I'm close to becoming a grandmaster. My combat strength is unparalleled. Whoever is unconvinced, fight me." Fong Ping frowned. "That's enough, Jiang Chao. Those who come are guests. Sino Nation martial artists don't fight for fame." Fong Ping, martial arts must be fought for. Your strength is unparalleled, and I, Jiang Chao, am convinced. These frogs in a well dare to make a fuss. If you're unconvinced, then come and fight me. What's there to be afraid of? I'm not afraid. Forget it. Shut up. As expected, Jiang Chao shut up. He looked as if he was the one who made the decision, which made Wang Jinyang frown. The people from Star Town were almost speechless. Was Jiang Chao crazy? Opposite. Some of the foreign grandmasters who were walking toward them chuckled. Fong Ping, that young martial artist from Sino Nation's mentality materialization, it's him. Looks like he's quite capable. That little fatty, he's a martial artist from Star Town, right? He's from the Jiang family of Star Town. I didn't expect that even someone from Star Town would be convinced. The martial artists from Star Town are proud and arrogant. These foreign grandmasters were extremely fluent in Mandarin. They had been dealing with Sino Nation for a long time, so they had a better understanding of the situation there. This was especially true for Star Town. Because there were many peak-level powerhouses, their martial artists were arrogant, despotic, and extremely savage. 3 years ago, Jiang Hao of the Jiang family was challenged once. He killed a descendant of a peak-level powerhouse. After that, no one dared to challenge him anymore. However, this person did not stop. He was incomparably arrogant. He used all 3 chances to challenge him, killing another person and injuring 2 others. In the youth tournament, there was no rule that said one would not need to challenge anyone after winning a match. If you wanted to, you could keep challenging him until you ran out of chances. Jiang Hao killed 2 people and injured another 2 in 4 battles. There were only 2 chances left, so no one dared to challenge him anymore. Even though Jiang Hao's words were overflowing with disdain that day, provoking the foreign grandmasters to the point of going crazy, none of the martial artists from the 5 forces were willing to court death. Although the youth competition did not have a champion or a runner-up, Jiang Hao was still hailed as the champion 3 years ago. It was evident how arrogant the martial artists from Star Town were. Now, the Jiang family was actually worshipping an outsider martial artist. Now, even the foreign grandmasters were solemn. They had some understanding of the people from Star Town. However, among the martial artists from the outside, even if Fang Ping was quite famous, especially when he materialized his mentality, everyone paid attention to him. However, the materialization of a rank 6 martial artists' mentality might not be stronger than mentality-vitality fusion. It was not like Star Town had never seen powerhouses before. If Fang Ping could convince them to this extent, he might really be stronger than they expected. For a moment, the foreign grandmaster's eyes flickered. No one knew what they were thinking. In the crowd, among the young martial artists, a few top-notch rank 6 martial artists looked eager and expectant amidst their anticipation. They were also in a dilemma as to whether they should challenge him or not. According to the previous agreement of the clans, the priority was to eliminate the weak and get the quota. Sparring with the same rank was secondary. In this complicated situation, the two sides met. 70 young martial artists, close to 30 grandmasters. This was the entire staff and audience this time. At this moment, Li Daong suddenly said, "Let's begin." Fang Ping and the others were stunned. They were starting already? However, very quickly, Fang Ping realized that he was wrong. They were not talking about them. As soon as Li Daong said that a total of 7 rank, 9 powerhouses present attacked at the same time. At this moment, Fang Ping and the others realized what they were going to do. These rank 9 powerhouses directly lifted the huge arena in the distance and hung it in midair. That was not enough. The powerhouses' mentality surged out and set up mentality barriers in all directions of the arena. They even began to solidify. Fang Ping was a little dazed as he watched. He whispered, "Is this necessary?" Of course, it might be necessary. After all, they were all rank 6 martial artists with strong destructive power. If they really went all out, it would not be difficult to destroy the Martial Arts Association. However, there was no need to be so flashy. Why did they have to float in midair? Could they not solidify on the ground? Beside him, Du Hong explained in a low voice, "It's to make it convenient for grandmasters to watch the battle. It's not just here. There are many grandmasters in Capital City who haven't come yet. Without buildings to block them, it's easier to watch the battle, including some of the grandmaster powerhouses in the government. Just live stream it directly." Fang Ping was speechless. Du Hong was speechless. What he said made sense. It was still Jiang Chao who explained, "This is the old rule. There was no video in the past. Speaking of which, these grandmasters are indeed a little old-fashioned. They couldn't do it in the past. Doing it now is a waste of mentality. This was a convention. It was quite good in the past. Now, it seemed a little superfluous and very flashy. These few people spoke softly. Their voices were so low that ordinary people could not hear them. Even rank 7 and 8 would have a hard time hearing them. However, those rank 9 powerhouses, many of their mentality trembled slightly. Mother Asterisker, what he said made sense. But we are happy. Why do you care? On the other side, Fang Ping said again, "That way, other people can see it too. Why don't we just make it public and make it so mysterious?" Du Hong shook his head. Ordinary people can't see it. Almost everyone below rank 7 can't see through the barrier of solidified mentality. This is to make it convenient for grandmasters to watch the battle. It's not open to ordinary martial artists. Fang Ping seemed to have thought of something. He laughed suddenly. Grandmasters from the central government. Speaking of which, Fang Ping's current level was not low. However, Most of the grandmasters he knew came from the 3 departments and 4 residences. Some came from the local areas. The 3 departments and 4 residences, including the local House of Governors, belonged to the central government. This was not an issue. However, the central government itself was also an organization that governed the entire country. There did not seem to be many powerhouses who belonged directly to the central government. Fang Ping only knew Northern Spear King Wang Yu, Dragon King Lin Long. These few rank 9 came from organizations directly under the central government. As for what organizations they were, he was not sure. There were 32 people on the rank 9 list now. Excluding the 3 departments and 4 residences, there were only 6 who truly came from the central government. Of course, including the 3 departments and 4 residences, there were more than 20 people. The rest were all casual martial artists who did not hold a position in the central government. Some might have already stopped caring about the affairs of the world. Some were guarding the catacombs, but they did not hold a position in the government. However, Fang Ping thought, was the number of powerhouses directly under the central government too little? It was the same for the rank 7 and 8 rankings. There were not many martial artists directly under the central government. As for the central government, there were people who participated in the competition every 3 years. There were times when Star City did not get a spot, but the central government had never missed a spot. Every time, a spot was in their hands. After so many years, there did not seem to be many grandmasters. Now that he thought about it, maybe they did not even show up. Du Hong did not reply. He was not sure either. He was only a rank 6 martial artist. No one told him about this. As these few people were chatting, the martial artists opposite them were carefully sizing up Fang Ping and the others. Fang Ping was being stared at, so he looked over with a smile. After watching for a while, Fang Ping suddenly laughed. After setting up a mentality barrier, Fang Ping said with a smile, "Look, that guy is wearing. Is that the armor of an ancient knight from the Middle Ages?" Fang Ping gestured to the few people beside him with his eyes. Opposite them, a martial artist wrapped in full-body armor, holding a great sword, like an ancient knight coming back to life. And that one wearing animal skin. Damn, what is he doing? Right, and that one, is that a tattoo on his body? That one, Roses, right? Is he carrying a door plank as a weapon? As Fang Ping spoke, Du Hong said with a slight headache, "General Fang, every place has its own customs. There's no need to mock each other because of these." Fang Ping chuckled. "I'm not mocking them. It's meaningless. I'm pretending to size them up on purpose. In fact, I'm probing their strength. You guys take it easy." Du Hong did not believe it. Fang Ping's gaze changed, his pupils narrowing slightly. That's the bearded monk. Don't look at him. Damn, a rank 7. There's a rank 9 powerhouse beside him who set up a mentality barrier. Surrender immediately when you guys meet him. This monk did not say a word and even asked the rank 9 to block the probing. He definitely has evil intentions. Maybe he wants to kill some of us. General Du, he's challenging you. You'd better surrender. Getting the quota is the most important thing. Du Hong's expression did not change, but his tone was low. "General Fang, are you sure?" "Nonsense. Why would I lie to you? While the rank 9 isn't paying attention to me, these people can't discover my probing. This is someone from the ancient Buddhist sacred land, right? What are they trying to do by sneaking up on a rank 7? A rank 7 could not hide from a powerhouse's probing. However, Sino Nation's grandmasters would not use their mentality to probe those people for no reason. They would only judge through vitality sensing. The other party had been tampered with by a rank 9 powerhouse. Unless a high-ranked powerhouse used their mentality to probe and penetrate the barrier, Only then would they be able to sense their specific strength. However, that would be a little too much. Fong Ping shielded his own aura and probed with mentality, although he would also touch the barrier. The rank 9 were all busy with their work. If they did not sense a powerhouse's mentality forcefully breaking through, they might not care too much. They might even think that it was the monk who triggered it himself. Knowing the opponent's strength in advance was still very beneficial. Du Hong's expression was solemn. A rank 7 martial artist who did not reveal himself at all might have the intention to kill a powerhouse. After killing one person, the others would know. Naturally, they would not fight recklessly anymore. However, if the person who was challenged in the beginning did not have time to admit defeat, then it would be troublesome. If this rank 7 powerhouse challenged Du Hong and unleashed his full strength, he might be able to kill a mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse in no time. Du Hong did not look at the monk directly. He took a deep breath and said, "General Fong, continue. See if there are more. These people have always treated Sino Nation as their target. Their target is either me or you. General Fong, you should be careful." Fong Ping did not say much and continued probing. After a while, Fong Ping said with some surprise, "That one with tattoos all over his body, is he from Totem City?" "Yes. The one hiding at the back with no tattoos on his arm is a grandmaster." "There are grandmasters in Totem City." This time, Du Hong was stunned. If it was said that Pantheon Heaven, ancient Buddha's sacred land, and Wampagoda World had them, he would believe it. However, Totem City and the Andes Mountains were not strong, and yet they had produced grandmasters. This was surprising. The most important thing was, why were Totem City's grandmasters so low-key? Could it be to deal with Sino Nation martial artists too? Fong Ping looked for a while, and suddenly laughed. "I'm afraid it's not to deal with us. Those in black robes are from Andes, right? Aren't these two families in the same group? That Totem City Grandmaster seems to be eyeing the mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse from their family." Du Hong was surprised again. Personal grudge? Or was there some dispute between the two families? At this time, Du Hong suddenly felt a little emotional. This person, Fong Ping, was quite capable. The 2 hidden grandmasters were actually discovered by him. "General Fong, are there any more?" "Yes, Pantheon Heaven has more than one mentality-vitality fusion. There are 2. Other than that Rosace, there's another one, the one with fiery red hair. The rest are gone. On the surface, there is only one mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse in each family. Counting it this way, there are 2 grandmasters, 6 mentality-vitality fusion, 17 peak rank, 6, 25 in total. There are 20 upper stage rank, 6, and 5 middle stage. Including us, the fight for 30 places is not easy. We have to kill at least a peak rank 6 to have any hope." Du Hong's tone was a little deep. "More than that, it's best to kill a few more. You know what I mean?" "Yes, I understand. Some of them are actually the kind that can be guaranteed entry." Fong Ping grinned. "Actually, the ones who suffer the most every year are not the weaklings, but the powerhouses instead." "That's right," Du Hong said softly. "In order to fight for a place, the best way is to kill those descendants who are not peerless so that they have no chance to fight. Actually, the ones who die the most are peak rank 6. Mentality-vitality fusion will get a place if there are no accidents. The middle stage and upper stage are almost all peerless descendants. The peak ones, on the other hand, mostly come from the government or the people. This time, including us, there are a total of 25 peak who have not achieved mentality-vitality fusion. There are less than 10 peerless descendants. Of the remaining 15, at least 5 or 6 must die, or be too heavily injured to fight again. Fang Ping chuckled softly. We are middle stage. How about pretending to be peerless descendants? Don't even think about it. Actually, everyone has information. Even if they don't know now, when they go on stage later, those with grandmasters overseeing will also be informed. These grandmasters will exchange information with each other. Fang Ping nodded slightly. Then he looked at Wang Jinyang and the rest, saying, Grandmasters admit defeat directly. Of course, their target is probably not you guys. Those who achieve mentality-vitality fusion, go on stage and pretend to be defeated. Don't use your full strength. It's meaningless. Peak rank. 6. Kill them directly to deter the others. Fang Ping's tone was extremely cold. He believed that old Wang and the rest could do it. When Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong were rank 5, both of them had entangled a mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse. Now, both of them had not only just achieved rank 6, but they had also entered middle stage rank 6. Their strength was much stronger than before. Now that both of them were working together to fight mentality-vitality fusion, Fang Ping felt that both of them could win. In a one-on-one situation, a peak rank 6 was no match for them. As for Yao Qingjun, with his mentality materialization, he was actually stronger than old Wang and the rest. To middle-ranked martial artists, mentality was the most lethal weapon. As long as they were not unlucky enough to encounter martial artists who carried a lot of forbidden mentality weapons, they would be fine. However, there were not many peerless martial artists in Polaris City who had these things. Fang Ping did not think that they were street goods that everyone had. Just as Fang Ping was probing everyone's strength, the rank 9 powerhouses had also solidified the arena. Li Daong suddenly shouted, "Enter the arena!" In the next moment, all the participating martial artists soared into the air and entered the arena. Some grandmasters entered one after another. Seeing that old man, Li was still pretending to be a statue in the distance. Fang Ping hurriedly waved at him. Now that they had entered the arena, the rank 9 mentality outside was solidified. If something happened inside, they would not even be able to break the barrier in time. Old man Li did not waste any time either. He shot forward and entered the barrier quickly. Li Daong glanced at him and did not say anything. Some of the foreign grandmasters had a slightly strange look in their eyes. Someone said softly, "Li Changsheng?" Aha, that Li Changsheng, who was crippled once and tormented himself into a cripple again. Someone shook his head, slightly ruminating. Yes, in some people's eyes, Li Changsheng had tormented himself into a cripple for the second time. Once a martial artist fought, his vitality would be drained away crazily. If this was not crippled, what was? Sparring and battling were not suitable for Li Changsheng. His only use was to be a kamikaze and kill a rank 8 martial artist. Moreover, he might not be able to kill the martial artist. After all, in their opinion, Li Changsheng had only forged an incomplete golden body. Strictly speaking, he was not even a rank 8. Some of the rank 9 martial artists present naturally looked down on such a one-time consumable. It was not an exaggeration to say that he had been tormented into a cripple. Li Daong did not say anything. Some things did not need to be said. For example, who did the divine weapon forged by the rank 9 monster in MCMU belong to? Fang Ping had brought back some life essence previously. Although it felt like it was depleted, sometimes it was hard to say. In the end, the Commander-in-Chief's origin unique technique was imparted. The main purpose of Myriad Dao unification was to increase combat strength. The draining of vitality was not a waste. Instead, it was converted into an increase in combat strength. This kind of Li Changsheng. Li Daong looked around. These rank 9s present had better not provoke him. Once that fellow disregarded consumption and engaged in a great battle, someone might die. Although there were catacombs enemies all over the world, they would not hold back when they fought each other. Chapter 546. The arena in the sky was incomparably huge. Stepping on the arena, Fong Ping did not feel the metallic texture. He only felt that he was stepping on clouds, which were solidified by a rank 9 powerhouses mentality. Although a rank 9 martial artist could not maintain a constant state of solidification, as long as it was replenished at any time, it could still be maintained. Everyone entered the arena, and under the guidance of the various grandmasters, they walked to their respective seats and sat down. Fong Ping sat down and touched the ground in passing. He raised his eyebrows slightly and said, "It's very strong. I'm afraid even a rank 6 wouldn't be able to leave a mark on it. However, once it's penetrated, I'm afraid the few rank 9s who are maintaining it will also suffer from the backlash." At this moment, Minister Wang happened to be sitting in front of Fong Ping. Upon hearing that, he chuckled softly. "How is that possible? This is Sino Nation. The powerhouses won't make a move. How could it be broken?" Fong Ping smiled and said nothing. At this moment, Li Daong walked to the center and said loudly, "Everyone should be clear about the rules. It's the same old rules. 3 chances to challenge and 3 chances to be challenged. No matter if it was a challenge or being challenged, no one was allowed to refuse. After the 6 chances were used up, the winner of the final battle would automatically enter the competition. If he failed the last time, he could only withdraw. If the number of finalists exceeded the number, then arrangements would be made. If the number was not enough, then more would be added. Other than that, humans were striving for survival. The catacombs' great enemy was right in front of them. We humans must unite as one. The competition for the quotas is dangerous. When warriors fight, accidents are everywhere. However, if the opponent had lost the ability to fight, it was not allowed to intentionally kill the opponent. Lastly, remind the non-participating martial artists that they are not allowed to interfere with the competition. If a martial artist breaks the rules at the last moment and kills a defenseless opponent, China will step in to stop them. After saying that, Li Daong continued, "In the first round, China's Du Hong will start to choose his opponent. He'll rotate according to his strength, and he can choose to give up the challenge." At this moment, Fong Ping suddenly said loudly, "Commander, this is the order of strength to choose the opponent, but if someone hides their strength, then what should we do?" Li Daong gave him a glance and said, "Coolly, strength represents priority. Choosing to hide means giving up the priority. It doesn't mean that just because you are strong, you must be the first to challenge." Fong Ping smiled and did not ask any more questions. In conclusion, the strong were respected. "I am strong, so I can choose my opponent first. I'm strong and I can choose to hide. Who cares how I challenge?" It was very fair. It was indeed very fair. Those with strength could be willful. In the world of martial artists, this was a kind of fairness. Currently, blood essence fusion was the strongest. On the surface, each side had sent out a single blood essence fusion expert. The order was China, Heaven of Gods, World of 10,000 Pagodas, Ancient Buddhist Sacred Land, Totem City, and Andes Mountains. This was also the ranking of strength. The law of the jungle was vividly reflected in this game-like competition. Even if the descendants of those at the pinnacle had special privileges, it was still a manifestation of the law of the jungle. Fong Ping was not averse to a competition like this. Instead, he found it more interesting. Perhaps the ultimate powerhouses had arranged these rules so that their descendants could see through the essence of everything. Everything, all of it was the sorrow of the weak. However, how many people could truly see through it. These apex experts were indeed cold-blooded. They were using the blood of outsiders to tell their descendants that only the strong could control everything. Unfortunately, in Fang Ping's opinion, he was not cold-blooded enough. If he was truly cold-blooded, then he should be even more ruthless and remove these privileges from his descendants. At that time, perhaps everyone would be able to experience the true danger. At the same time, Fang Ping was a little happy. It was precisely because the apex experts were not cold-blooded enough that they would protect humans. If they did not even care about the lives of their own family members, how could they expect them to protect the human world? What a joke! It was a very complicated mentality. He hoped that these apex experts would be emotionless, but he also hoped that these apex experts would still retain some feelings. Martial artists without feelings, who would fight to protect. In the crowd, Du Hong stood up. Looking around, some of the other parties were slightly nervous. Someone, however, mocked loudly. Du Hong, is there no one else in Sino Nation? You actually became the leader of the younger generation. If you have the guts, come and challenge me. This was what Kamen from the world of 10,000 pagodas said, provoking these powerhouses with vitality fusion and letting them have the opportunity to challenge them was something that all vitality fusion experts would do. Otherwise, it was very likely that their teammates would be killed. The golden-haired, green-eyed Luo Saisai chuckled. General Du Hong, I heard that you killed 30,000 people in one battle previously. Your personal strength has not been verified yet. Why don't you spar with me? On the ancient Buddha side, a martial artist with dark skin, especially big eyes, and dirty hair that almost touched the ground clasped his hands together and said, General Du, Buchuoi would also like to see the power of Sino Nation's martial arts. A few vitality fusion powerhouses were taking turns to provoke him. Fang Ping listened for a while and laughed softly. These guys don't seem to be very good at provoking people. Beside him, Jiang Chao chuckled. Do they really have a sense of shame? That's so embarrassing. Besides, martial arts powerhouses are all determined. Every family has a plan. Actually, there's no point in provoking them. That's not necessarily true. While both of them were talking, Du Hong's gaze fell on an upper stage rank 6 martial artist from the Hall of Gods. Being stared at by Du Hong, the brown-haired man's expression changed slightly, but he did not say anything. Fang Ping frowned slightly. Was he going to kill his opponent? Even if it was against a normal peak, mentality-vitality fusion was a sure win. Du Hong did not choose a peak powerhouse, but chose an upper stage rank, 6. The intention of killing his opponent was very obvious. Other than Sino Nation, the Hall of Gods had the most people with 14. Seeing Du Hong looking at the people on his side, Luo Saisai's expression did not look too good. He said lightly, General Du, don't you even have the guts to fight me? Are you afraid that I'll kill the general? Don't worry. If we really fight, I'll spare your life. You come out. Du Hong was not disturbed. He pointed directly at the upper stage rank 6 martial artist. The brown-haired martial artist did not say much. He stood up and walked toward the center. Fang Ping glanced at him. Seeing the look in his eyes that looked like he was looking at death calmly, he suddenly cursed under his breath. In the front row, Minister Wang turned his head and gave him a look. Seeing that, Fang Ping said in a low voice, You know that you might die if you come. Why don't you even allow me to admit defeat? See blood, just to let the descendants of the peak see how cruel a martial artist's battle is, just to be a monkey? Minister Wang said in a low voice, Because of the quota, this is the benefit. You don't get up early without benefits. The peak throws out the bait. If you don't take it, no one will stop you. I don't care about this quota, Fang Ping cursed. Then he suddenly said, You want to see blood, right? You want to let the Peak's descendants see how martial artists fight. Fine, today. Fong Ping. Minister Wang's expression turned cold. He growled, "Don't cause trouble. It's been like this for more than 100 years. If you don't want to participate, no one will force you. It's not your turn yet. You can withdraw, or even pretend to be dead, and hurt yourself. But this is a big deal. It concerns the birth of many high-rank powerhouses. If you mess up the competition, even MCMU can't protect you." Fong Ping snorted, looking displeased. "I know. I didn't say I'll cause trouble. I said, next, it's my turn. I'll specialize in fighting the Peak's descendants. As long as I don't kill them, that's fine. I'll just cripple a few. If I can't, look at your grandfather." Fong Ping suddenly cursed at the two young family members beside him. With a fierce look, he said, "Motherf ***, if you keep looking at me like that, when it's time for me to challenge, I'll kill both of you directly. Don't give me that. There are 4 people from the Martial Arts University. No matter who you challenge, as long as you dare to cause trouble for the Martial Arts University, I promise you that both of you won't go back alive. Motherf ***, you're all bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Your Peak is dead. So what if I kill you?" Fong Ping. One of the 2 young family members had an icy expression. He said in a low voice, "You really think that we can't do anything to you?" Fong Ping suddenly regained his composure. He chuckled. "Fine. I was too lazy to care about you before. Let me ask you now, why are you so hostile toward me? I don't have a grudge against the Yang family. Grandmaster Yang Daohong died. At least I brought back his corpse, and the rank 9 divine weapon. To be honest, if I was more ruthless at that time, I could have killed the 2 grandmasters Li Mo directly. I wouldn't even have to return the rank 9 divine weapon. If I killed them in the bounded domain, who would know? If I said they all died together, what can you do? You wouldn't dare." The Yang family member said coldly, "If you dare to kill them, then you'll be committing a crime against Star City. Do you dare?" Fong Ping laughed. "If that's the case, I should have saved them. It's a must. In your opinion, it's wrong for me to not be able to save Grandmaster Yang Daohong. Is that right?" Both of them did not speak. Fong Ping did not know if they agreed or did not want to speak. Fong Ping laughed happily again. "So, in your opinion, even if I couldn't save him, the spoils of war must belong to you. Now, I'm the one who snatched your spoils of war, right? So, I'm not your benefactor, but your enemy, the enemy who caused the Yang family to decline. Am I right? Because I'm weak, that's what you think. How can the weak have human rights? Are you still living in the past?" At the end of his sentence, Fong Ping suddenly looked sympathetic. He said with a face full of pity, "To be honest, 99% of the people I've killed in this life are catacombs martial artists. I've killed a few evil sect martial artists because I thought they deserved to die. When I first started practicing martial arts, I killed 2 university classmates because I was impulsive and hot-blooded. Now that I think about it, maybe they didn't deserve to die. But I've never regretted it because they provoked me first and had the intention to kill me. After bringing back the 2 grandmasters, I can't say whether I regret it or not. After I've done it, I won't think about it anymore. But bringing back Grandmaster Yang Daohong's corpse, maybe it's the biggest mistake I've made so far." The Yang family, do you really think that I, Fong Ping, can be bullied? Both of you have been staring at me with those disgusting eyes for a long time. I didn't want to fight with you on account of your elder ancestor protecting humanity for so many years. Did I make concessions again and again make you think you can push your luck? Fong Ping. Before the 2 Yang family members could speak, Minister Wang said in a low voice, We'll talk about this after the competition. Fong Ping was in a bad mood. He said irritably, I don't want to be watched by others, especially when there are 2 dogs staring at me. If they dare to look at me again, Minister, I'll kill them. Arrogant. These words came from the front. The Yang family rank. 8 looked unfriendly, his eyes cold and stern. Fong Ping, hand over the rank 9 monster or the forged divine weapon, and we'll let this matter go. Otherwise, Fong Ping chuckled. What can the Yang family do to me? That day, the government didn't object and tacitly agreed that I took those things. Are you going to attack and kill me? Yang he suddenly regained his composure and said softly, the Yang family has declined to this point. The glory of the past is gone. The Yang family has no intention of making enemies with anyone. The rank 9 origin has already been used by Vice Chancellor Wu. I'll take a step back and ask for a rank 9 divine weapon. Don't tell me that the Yang family doesn't even have the right to do so. After saying that, Yang he looked at Su Haoran and said in a complicated tone, the elder ancestor has fallen. Big brother died in battle. The enemies he killed before he died have all fallen into someone else's hands. Big brother Su, aren't you afraid of disappointing everyone by watching from the sidelines? Su Haoran's expression was also complicated. He said helplessly, Yang, Fong Ping has already returned Dao Hong's divine weapon. I can let Yang Qing use his divine weapon to exchange for the one Fong Ping obtained. You're making things difficult for Star Town. Yang, Star Town hasn't abandoned anyone. The Yang family situation isn't good now. You should recuperate for a period of time. Focus on your cultivation and achieve rank 9. The Yang family's glory will still be there. My aptitude is average. Without the help of the origin, how can I achieve rank 9? Qing is still young. When will she be able to achieve rank 9? Now, only when Qing and I both have rank 9 divine weapons can we restore the Yang family's vitality to the greatest extent. The 2 of them kept talking, but Fong Ping did not look at them. He was staring at the central area, at the battle between Du Hong and the upper stage rank 6 martial artist. 3 moves. In just 3 moves, Du Hong's spear pierced through the other party's skull. Fong Ping suddenly shouted, Kill! No one uttered a word. The people nearby looked at Fong Ping with some surprise. They did not understand. Du Hong was killing someone. Why was he so agitated? Only old man Li, who had been silent all this while, moved his eyes slightly. Yang Yi's figure appeared in his peripheral vision. Fong Ping had made up his mind. Today, he would kill the Yang family's rank 8. The fall of an absolute peak, the fall of a rank 9, had caused the Yang family's rank 8 to be in an extremely extreme state. Fong Ping was afraid of death. He was very afraid that he would die without knowing why. He still had too many things that he had not done. There were still too many people that he could not let go of. A rank 8 who was already in a state of madness, could not be persuaded by anyone. Over at Stellar Sky City, Su Haoran spoke again and again, trying to persuade the other party. However, the other party had no intention of giving up. He wanted to take back that rank 9 divine weapon, the divine weapon that, in Fong Ping's opinion, had nothing to do with the Yang family. The other party's remaining rationality prevented him from snatching it now, because the Yang family was no match for MCMAU. However, Fong Ping could not be sure that if this continued, the Yang family would become more and more enraged, more and more unwilling. There was no way Fong Ping could survive a rank 8 powerhouse's ambush, especially if the other party intended to kill him. Old man Li did not make a move now. The Yang family was still one of them. If he made a move, Stellar Sky City would not let it go. However, if the Yang family made the first move, he could kill the other party quickly. The two of them, one in front and one behind, did not speak, nor did they communicate. Old Man Li, on the other hand, was prepared. Today, the divine weapon, longevity sword, would see blood. Fang Ping's gaze was cold and fierce. He kept staring at the central area, ignoring the Yang family. At this moment, Roses from the God's Paradise had already stood up, his gaze fixed on the Sino nation's side. Du Hong killed one of their upper stage rank, 6 martial artists, in 3 moves. Logically, he should also kill a Sino nation martial artist to make up for it. Just as Roses was looking at him, Fang Ping suddenly avoided his gaze, revealing an undetectable hint of timidity. Beside him, Wang Jinyang glanced at Fang Ping without batting an eyelid. This fellow, was he trying to screw over Roses or the Yang clan? After Fang Ping said so much just now, when the word kill came out of his mouth, he knew that Fang Ping had the intention to kill. No one knew better than him how much Fang Ping valued his life. In the past, the fugitive Huang Bin only temporarily stayed on the 2nd floor. Because Fang Ping suspected that the other party might be plotting against him, he dared to deal with the rank 2 martial artist as an aspiring martial artist. Now, the Yang family's attitude was obvious. They would not stop until the divine weapon was handed over. How could Fang Ping ignore it? Wang Jinyang knew who had the rank 9 divine weapon, not to mention that it had been forged into a longevity sword. Even if it did not, Fang Ping would not hand it over. In this way, the conflict between the 2 parties was almost impossible to reconcile. Wang Jinyang wanted to persuade him. In the end, it turned into a sigh. That day, when the 2 of them were in the bounded domain, Fang Ping did not intend to bring them back. Even if he did not silence them, he would leave the 2 of them there. In the end, the 2 of them would die completely. No one would go to the bounded domain in the short term. In the end, it was Wang Jinyang who persuaded Fang Ping to bring the 2 of them back. Now, because of this matter, the Yang family had become hostile toward him. Wang Jinyang did not know what to say, nor could he say anything. In the central area, Rosei's gaze had already landed on Fang Ping. He knew this Sino nation genius, mentality materialization. Before this, the advice given by the rank 9 in Pantheon was not to challenge him. The other party was not weak. If the battle was too intense, even if the other party was killed, he would be injured, and others would take advantage of it. Now, however, this person was actually afraid. To challenge or not to challenge, a cowardly martial artist, even if his strength was not weak, would not be able to unleash his full strength in a life-and-death battle. Roses could not make a decision at that moment. At this moment, Fang Ping had already concealed his emotions and returned to normal. He looked at him and smiled. "Screw, right? Why don't we play? Don't worry, I won't kill you. Since General Fang has said so, then we'll do as you Sino Nation says." "I'll do as you say. General Fang, please." Roses looked straight at Fang Ping, a playful expression on his face. As Fang Ping said, Fang Ping dared not kill him. On the other hand, he could take a gamble. This person was not as strong as he appeared. Killing him could also weaken some of Sino Nation's strength. Although every country was resisting the catacombs, sometimes a weak opponent was a good thing. The fight for the right to speak was nothing. More importantly, the catacombs' powerhouses also looked at which side was weak and attacked which side was weak. The situation in Sino Nation was deteriorating, and other places were deteriorating even faster. At this time, weakening Sino Nation's strength might cause the catacombs to shift their target to attack Sino Nation. In the future, if they really had to abandon some areas, Sino Nation's attacks were so fierce, naturally, they would be abandoned areas. A young genius might not be enough to change anything, but a genius with unlimited potential. Killing him would still be beneficial. Fong Ping seemed to be stunned for a moment. He smiled and said, "You really want to challenge me?" "Of course." Fong Ping stood up and sighed softly. "I thought that if you and I fight, we might drag it out to the end. I didn't expect this. Fine, let's do it then." Fong Ping walked toward the central area. Many Sino Nation grandmasters frowned slightly. Fong Ping was strong. Logically, Rosales would not challenge him in the first round. Now, however, the other party did it. This surprised the Sino Nation grandmasters. They could not understand it. No one saw the flash of cowardice in Fong Ping's eyes earlier. Even if someone saw it, Li Daong, for example, was frowning. What was Fong Ping trying to do? Fighting with such a powerhouse in the first round might not necessarily be beneficial to him. Showing off his strength? There was no need for that. Slightly puzzled, Li Daong looked around and looked at the crowd, his brows furrowed. This time, was it good or bad to let Fong Ping and the rest participate in the competition? Chapter 547, Central Area. Fong Ping walked out slowly, holding his saber with his right hand. He said seriously, "We're both fighting for the survival of mankind. I don't want to kill you. I also hope that everyone can avoid casualties as much as possible." Luo Sayas could not help but laugh. Then his expression turned cold. He pointed at the corpse that had been collected. "General Fong, didn't your teacher teach you that life and death are fated in a fight between martial artists?" "I understand." Fong Ping said no more. He took a light breath and said loudly, "Sino Nation Magic City Martial Arts University student, Fong Ping." Luo Sayas frowned slightly, but he still introduced himself. "European Youth Competition Representative, Luo Sayas Campbell." As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Ping unsheathed his saber and slashed. When the saber slashed, the air exploded and sparks flew everywhere. Luo Sayas was a globally recognized top-notch rank 6 powerhouse. He had once killed a mentality-vitality fusion with 3 slashes. His strength was terrifying. As soon as Fong Ping unsheathed his saber, Luo Sayas let out a roar. A vitality glow formed around his body. The door-sized greatsword was as fast as lightning in his hands. When Fong Ping's saber fell, Luo Sayas also swung his sword and slashed. Boom! The loud sound of metal colliding and the sound of air exploding rang out. Thud, thud, thud. Loud footsteps could be heard. Fong Ping took more than 10 steps back. His hands were trembling. Pale golden blood dripped to the ground. Opposite him, Luo Sayas smiled, faintly. Both of them said nothing. That move just now was just a probing attack from both of them. However, after the attack, Luo Sayas did not move an inch, but Fong Ping took a few steps back. His flesh cracked. A simple probing attack, and Fong Ping was at a disadvantage. Fong Ping is only a middle stage rank, 6 after all. In the crowd, Minister Wang sighed softly. Was Fong Ping strong? Very strong. A middle stage rank 6 and a mentality-vitality fusion. The difference was huge. Not to mention that Fong Ping was facing an invincible rank 6 powerhouse who was famous in both Europe and America. After the attack, Fong Ping was not killed. He was only at a disadvantage. This was already the standard of a top-notch rank 6. Fong Ping's golden bones and half-golden body would not be weaker than a peak rank 6 powerhouse. However, this was not Fong Ping's advantage. As soon as Minister Wang finished speaking, many nodded. Fong Ping was indeed very strong, so strong that it was somewhat unexpected. He did not even use his own mentality. Relying solely on his vitality and physique, he was able to contend against an invincible rank 6 powerhouse. Even though there was a difference of a few ranks, his strength had indeed exceeded everyone's expectations. However, Rosés was no ordinary rank 6. It was impossible for Fong Ping to rely on his physique and vitality to defeat the other. In the crowd, Yang He stared at Fong Ping. It was indeed very powerful. It was a pity that he had shown off his abilities. If he hadn't been so full of himself at the start, he wouldn't have been targeted by the Hall of God's top experts. Back when he had materialized his mind energy, he had kept a low profile and did not cause a ruckus. A powerhouse like Rosés would definitely look down on him. Even killing him would be a waste of a challenge opportunity. He's a genius, but a genius who hasn't grown up yet. No matter how much of a genius he is, he won't be an expert. Yang He murmured in his heart. Geniuses and experts were not equal. Geniuses could die, experts could die, but the prerequisite was that you could kill them. The Yang family knew that Fong Ping was extraordinarily talented. Yang He also did not want to make things difficult for Fong Ping. In other words, Fong Ping, who had not reached a high rank, was not worthy of his attention. However, Fong Ping had taken away his eldest brother's spoils of war. If the old ancestor was still here, the Yang family might not care about this. With a top powerhouse around, that was confidence. So what if there was one more rank, 9 or 1 less? However, the old ancestor was dead. Eldest brother was dead. Not only that, a rank, 9 divine weapon. Actually, Yang He had it himself. He had inherited Yang Daohong's rank, 9 divine weapon. Did he really care about a rank 9 divine weapon? Yang Qing did not, but Yang Qing was only a rank 7. No matter how anxious he was, there was no need to be so anxious. The key point was that Fong Ping and the others had entered the inner boundary of the bounded domain. Would he believe that it was Qin Feng Qing who had entered the inner boundary? The ones who had entered the inner boundary were Fong Ping, Wang Jinyang, and Li Hansong. The 3 of them had advanced from rank 5 to middle stage rank 6 in a short period of time. Especially Fong Ping, his mentality had materialized in advance. Did he really think everyone was stupid without entering the bounded domain? Even if they were all resurrected martial artists, it was impossible for them to improve so quickly. The 3 of them had entered, but they had concealed the truth. Some people who knew would pretend not to know, but the Yang family could not. The Yang family's old ancestor was still inside. Since they had entered, then what about the old ancestor's remains? He had inquired about some information very clearly. How could Fong Ping and the others bring so many spoils of war, traversing thousands of miles and returning to Tian'an City? Storage ring. The old ancestors' storage ring was in their hands. The old ancestors' remains must be in their hands too. These be asterisk stars had hidden the old ancestors' remains. That was the Yang family's old ancestor. Yang He's mind was full of thoughts. There were some things that he did not say, but it did not mean that he had really ignored it. Paragon. The Yang family needed to produce a new paragon. Originally, the Yang family had hopes of producing a new paragon. If the Rose City Lord's origin had been given to him, he would have stepped into rank 9 and then accepted the old ancestors' inheritance. He would have had hopes of entering the paragon and leading the Yang family to the peak again. But all of this had been destroyed by Fong Ping. Fong Ping thought that he was doing it for the rank 9 divine weapon. Little did he know that he was thinking more about something else. He did not see the storage ring, but Fong Ping would probably carry this kind of treasure with him. He had been paying attention to him for a long time. He wanted to see if something would suddenly appear on Fong Ping's body. If he was injured, would he have more pills and life essence? He looked on coldly from the side. He glanced at Su Haoran from the corner of his eyes. The people in Stellar Sky City were getting more and more stupid. He used the rank 9 divine weapon as an excuse to make things difficult for Fong Ping. Was it really for a rank 9 divine weapon? The old ancestors' remains and storage ring were in Fong Ping's hands. That was what he wanted. That was the foundation for the Yang family to rise again. It was a pity that he could not tell anyone about this, not even Yang Qing. It would be fine if Yang Daohong was alive. The Yang family had a rank 9 powerhouse. Even if the other paragons were tempted, they still had to consider some things and could only let the Yang family inherit. But now he was only rank 8. The Yang family could not absorb and digest everything in a short period of time to produce a new paragon. Yang he did not have to think to know that if the news was leaked, no one would support the Yang family to inherit everything. They would only choose a rank 9 to inherit the old ancestors' path to the paragon. There were many rank 9s in Stellar Sky City. The government also had a lot of them. It would not be his turn. At most, they would give him some benefits as a consolation. It's a pity that Qing, and I are too conspicuous. We can't follow him into the catacombs to kill him. We'll be discovered soon. If I want to take back the old ancestors' remains and storage ring, I can only find an opportunity and an excuse. He's too strong. Yang Mu and Yang Feng might not be his match. Damn it! Why don't I kill him? I'll look for an opportunity to search his body. I should be able to find the storage ring. Yang He's mind was full of thoughts. The 2 Yang family members had always been hostile to Fong Ping. Even when Li Daong and the others warned them several times, Yang He did not show any signs of stopping them. The reason was simple. He wanted to provoke Fong Ping. If Fong Ping was so angry that he did not know what to say or even attacked him, then he could kill Fong Ping fair and square. As for asking Fong Ping to hand it over voluntarily, that fellow was not even willing to hand over a rank 9 divine weapon. How would he be willing to hand over the old ancestors' remains and remains? Initially, everything was going well. But now, Yang He glanced at Li Changsheng, who was like a statue beside him. Damn it! MCMAU had actually sent someone to the youth competition. Moreover, it was not another rank 7, but Li Changsheng, who was the myriad Dao unification. Even if this fellow was expendable, his combat strength was not weak. Just as Yang, he was thinking of a million things. Central area. Fong Ping and Luo Seius had already exchanged dozens of blows. Luo Seius's movements were extremely fast. He had even ignited his vitality. His combat strength was even stronger now. The booming sounds were incessant. Fong Ping's body was already riddled with sword wounds. The gigantic longsword almost split Fong Ping in half a few times. Luo Seius sent Fong Ping flying with his sword again. He said mildly, "General Fong, at this point, you're still not using your mentality. Do you really think that you can fight me with your middle stage, rank 6 strength?" Fong Ping wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He grinned and said, "Vitality is easy to recover, but mentality is difficult. I have to leave some ace up my sleeve. I'm not fighting you alone." Having said that, Fong Ping's vitality began to recover rapidly. Although it did not happen in an instant, it only took 5 to 6 seconds. Seeing this, everyone knew Fong Ping's plan. He wanted to rely on rapid vitality recovery to wear down Luo Seius. Just as Fong Ping said, everyone was fighting more than one battle. Mentality was difficult to recover. Everyone knew this. If Fong Ping did not use his mentality, then he still had some ace up his sleeve. This way, Fong Ping could continue to fight other powerhouses who had mentality-vitality fusion. When martial artists fight, it's foolish not to use their full strength. Luo Seius shook his head in his heart. Sure enough, he was still too young. When I kill you, no matter how many tricks you have up your sleeve, you won't be able to use them. Thinking of this, Luo Seiya stopped probing Fang Ping. Before this, he had been worried about Fang Ping's mentality. Now that the other party had made it clear that he would not use it unless it was a life-and-death situation, what was there to hesitate about? Just as Fang Ping's vitality recovered, Luo Seiya made his move. Luo Seiya roared, his vitality soaring. The great sword appeared above Fang Ping's head in the blink of an eye, like a leaf that made no sound. Fang Ping roared again and again, his chaos-vanquishing saber slashing wildly. In the void, the Emperor's blood splattered. Shadows of emperors wrapped around the greatsword. Boom, boom, boom. A series of booming sounds rang out. Fang Ping shot out, his face pale. This time, he did not take the attack head-on. Instead, he moved extremely fast, darting around the arena. He's recovering his vitality. This kid's vitality recovery speed is really fast, but someone said in a low voice, but there's a limit to his recovery. Previously, he recovered in less than 3 seconds. After that, it took 5 to 6 seconds. Now it's almost 10 seconds. It seems like the recovery is slower in the later stages. If we really exhaust him a few more times, he won't be able to recover. And the longer the recovery time, the more opportunities the opponent has. Some of the foreign grandmasters said they were discussing in low voices, but everyone present was a powerhouse. No one could hear them. Li Daong glanced at them and said coldly, "No one is allowed to interfere with the competition." Fang Ping's ability to recover vitality quickly had been revealed when he was a rank 1. Everyone knew this. However, Fang Ping did not have much time to recover vitality when he was fighting on the ground. In the early stages, Fang Ping relied on pills to recover. In the later stages, when his rank was higher, Fang Ping seemed to rely on the energy stored in his body to recover quickly. However, no one knew how many times Fang Ping could recover. Everyone only knew that Fang Ping, who was a middle stage rank 6, relied on his vitality to recover to peak quickly, and had already delayed Luo Seiya for a long time. However, if this continued, he would not be able to defeat Luo Seiya. Recovering vitality quickly. Child's play. Luo Seiya said in a barely audible voice, a hint of mockery on his face. At his rank, it was wishful thinking for Fang Ping to rely on this to close the gap between them. Fang Ping seemed to feel this as well. A sharp look flashed in his eyes. "You're forcing me to kill you," Fang Ping growled. Just as Luo Seiya's greatsword pierced through the air and swept across his head again, Fang Ping let out an angry roar. In the void, a small city materialized in an instant. The small city enlarged abruptly, covering the entire central area. In the next moment, the small city descended, enveloping both Fang Ping and Luo Seiya within it. The moment both of them entered the small city, a blood-red sun crashed down from the sky above the city. Luo Seiya's expression was solemn. He waved his sword and slashed rapidly. At this moment, Fang Ping pierced through the air, celestiality sparkling on the chaos-vanquishing saber as he slashed. Interesting, but it's not enough. Luo Seiya grinned. His greatsword rose into the air abruptly, exchanging blows with the blood-red sun in midair. As for Luo Seiya himself, celestiality appeared on his fist as he punched at Fang Ping's chaos-vanquishing saber. With this punch, Luo Seiya was like a god of war. His body expanded abruptly. So did his fist, covering Fang Ping in one punch. Boom! A deafening roar resounded. The aftermath shattered countless illusory buildings in the small city. Some of the grandmasters in Sino Nation exclaimed in surprise. Fang Ping's mentality had not been materialized for long, but he had learned quite a few mentality combat skills. However, very soon, someone shook his head slightly and said, "It's neither. It's just a shell." Although Fang Ping had used two major mentality combat skills consecutively, the Grandmasters could see that he had only scratched the surface. Compared to real mentality combat skills, it was still much weaker. Even so, Luo Seius was not a rank 7 after all. Although his combat strength was unparalleled, this collision of saber and fist still caused Luo Seius to suffer. The gigantic fist was directly slashed by the chaos-vanquishing saber until flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Even the bones in his hand seemed to have cracked from the slash. Luo Seius, who had been suppressing Fang Ping earlier, was now being suppressed by Fang Ping. Chapter 548. Screw, looks like this is all you've got. Just as everyone was discussing in low voices, Fang Ping's voice was loud, his tone sarcastic. "I'll kill you." As soon as Fang Ping's voice fell, the crimson sun expanded countless times in an instant and crashed down. The door-sized greatsword was smashed onto the ground directly, falling into the small town. The crimson sun's glow dimmed a little. Rosais roared, "How dare you underestimate me? How dare you use the materialized object's core directly? You're asking for death." Rosais roared. If he destroyed the materialized object's core, Fang Ping would definitely be heavily injured. The moment the crimson sun crashed, Rosais roared skywards. His body expanded to its limit again, like an ancient giant. The door-sized greatsword was smashed onto the ground. Rosais did not use his sword anymore. He extended his arms and leaped into the air, holding the crimson sun in his hands. Despite being pressed down continuously, Rosais' expression was fierce. Fang Ping was too arrogant. He actually dared to use the materialized object's core to directly touch him. "Shatter!" Rosais roared again. His entire body's vitality burned to its limit. His arms grabbed the crimson sun directly and began to tear it apart. Creak! The crimson sun, formed entirely from mentality, was showing signs of shattering. Fang Ping's expression changed, but he gritted his teeth. The illusory buildings in the small town disappeared one after another. In the next moment, they all merged into the crimson sun. The crimson sun erupted with incomparably brilliant rays. Rumble! With a loud explosion, half of the crimson sun exploded. Rosais' face turned pale instantly. Flesh and blood splattered from his arms. The bones in his hands shattered. "Ah!" Rosais screamed. Fang Ping actually made the materialized object's core explode directly. Was this bastard not afraid of death? If he was not afraid of death, why did he look so guilty earlier? Bastard! He was luring me to attack him. Rosais roared again and again. Fang Ping's face was extremely pale, but he soared into the sky, swinging his saber and slashing. "Rumble!" Rosais retreated continuously, gritting his teeth and saying, "Enough! If we continue to fight, you and I will both become targets for others." "What a joke! If I kill you, who would dare to challenge me?" Fang Ping was extremely arrogant. Rosais was furious. In the next moment, he suddenly ignored Fang Ping and threw a punch at the broken crimson sun. Dong, dong, dong. As the blood sun collided with Rosais, it became even more damaged. There was a hint of worry in Fang Ping's eyes, but he still refused to give up. With a roar, more than half of the broken bloody sun exploded again. At this moment, the blood sun was already extremely dim. Luo Seius was also dizzy. It was at this moment that Fang Ping slashed with his saber, his speed unbelievably fast. Bang! Crack! The sound of metal scraping against metal was heard, followed by the sound of bones breaking. Rosai's left arm fell off. "Damn it! Don't think you'll have it easy either." Luo Seius came to his senses immediately. His right fist bombarded the bloody sun again, making the bloody sun grow dimmer and dimmer. Blood was splattering from Fong Ping's 7 orifices. His face was drained of color. Enduring the pain, Fong Ping continued to slash at his opponent's skull. After a few consecutive slashes, Rosais roared furiously. He turned around and threw a punch at Fong Ping. The two of them continued to exchange blows in midair. In the void of space, 2 afterimages constantly crossed each other. At this moment, the dim blood sun descended once again. Rosais roared, "Do you have a death wish?" "Kill you, bastard." Rosais was starting to regret it. F***CK. He should not have challenged this bastard. This bastard dared to throw the materialized object core like a ball. If it was shattered, he would be heavily injured too. The competition had just begun. There were still a few powerhouses who had achieved mentality-vitality fusion. Was he not afraid that if both of them were injured, the others would take advantage of both of them? He had thought that this bastard was a coward who was afraid of death. He had really miscalculated this time. He sent the bloody sun flying with another punch. Anger flashed across Rosais' eyes. This bastard was a lunatic. He did not care if both of them were injured. He might not care, but he could not. This is only the first battle. I can't be injured too badly. Or else, thinking of this, Rosais' eyes flashed fiercely. Just as Fong Ping's saber was about to slash, Rosais flew out abruptly and landed on the ground. Blood was spilling from his mouth, his face drained of color. Fong Ping frowned slightly. He did not even think about it. The red sun crashed down again. "Stop!" The rank 9 powerhouse from Pantheon roared angrily when he saw this. He could see that Rosais wanted to preserve his strength. At this time, Rosais had taken the initiative to show signs of weakness, which meant that he had admitted defeat. Although he could not admit defeat, he was already at his limit. If Fong Ping attacked him again, it would mean that he was purposely trying to kill him. Trash! Fong Ping sneered, withdrawing the mentality materialization instantly. Then he looked around and said mockingly, "Mentality-vitality fusion is nothing more than this. My mentality, spirit, and soul have been depleted. Challenge me if you can. Play dead, and I'll let you go." Arrogant! Arrogant! Rosais, this trash. Many people spoke up. Some began to despise Rosais. Rosais did not say a word. He picked up his fallen left arm and looked at Fong Ping. The materialized object was put away. Fong Ping was stepping on a giant sword. That was his. His injuries were not as serious as they had imagined. Everyone could see that, if they continued, it would be hard to tell who would win between him and Fong Ping. However, he did not want to fight to the death with Fong Ping in the first battle. This bastard was even crazier than he was. He was the youth leader of the Paradise of Gods. He had to consider the big picture. He could not fight this lunatic to the end. Fong Ping did not even look at him. He stepped on the giant sword and performed the flight step, flying toward the Sino Nation camp. Rosai's expression changed. He wanted to say something, but stopped himself. "Damn bastard, give me back my sword." However, Fong Ping had already flown away with the sword. He had also pretended to be exhausted earlier. If he asked for it now, it would be even more embarrassing. "Bastard, just you wait. I'll give you one last chance to challenge me. I'll definitely kill you. Bastard." Rosais cursed in his heart. He no longer cared about the giant sword. When he returned to the Paradise of Gods, he immediately took a bottle from a rank 9 powerhouse and gulped it down. He pressed his left arm far away. In the blink of an eye, his left arm was connected to his body at a speed visible to the naked eye. Rosai's vitality was restored to its peak in an instant. Seeing this, many people's eyes flickered. They gave up on the idea of taking advantage of him. As for Fong Ping, he was too brutal and powerful. Everyone gave up on the idea of challenging him. Sino Nation Camp. Fong Ping steered the giant sword back to his original position. Minister Wang was just about to congratulate him when Fong Ping cast many mentality barriers in a row. Then his expression changed slightly. Minister, you're here. Minister Wang's expression changed. He continued to strengthen the barriers. At this moment, Fong Ping's face turned extremely pale. The materialized object suddenly appeared in front of him, disappearing in a flash. However, all the grandmasters present saw it. The bloody sun collapsed instantly. The moment it collapsed, Fong Ping bled from his orifices. However, Fong Ping wiped away all the blood with a wave of his hand. Then he said in a low voice, "It's okay. Don't look at me. No one dares to challenge me now." Old man Li's eyes flashed. He said in a low voice, "Can it recover?" "Yes, but not this time. I can't use my mentality anymore. That combat strength, it's okay." Fong Ping suddenly held his head high and puffed out his chest. He looked around provocatively, looking at the few mentality-vitality powerhouses from afar. He slit his throat, extremely arrogant. Now, everyone understood what he meant. He used the reputation of defeating Roses to scare these mentality-vitality powerhouses. Worry flashed in Minister Wang's eyes. The materialized object's core had collapsed. This was not a problem of whether or not it would affect his combat strength. If the core collapsed, it would be a big deal. If Fong Ping could not recover, even if his vitality force was still there, his combat strength would be greatly affected. Could it really be recovered? He had seen the fleeting scene earlier. Blood Sun was the core of Fong Ping's materialized object. When the core collapsed, it meant that the materialized object had collapsed as well. It was already incredible that Fong Ping could still speak and remain clear-headed. Beside him, Li Hansong looked confused. The core had collapsed? That was not right. Was the core of Fong Ping's mentality materialized object not that small house? How did it become that bloody sun he had cultivated with Fong Ping for many days? He knew that the bloody sun was just something Fong Ping made. He purposely kept it for explosive purposes. His real core was that house. Why did everyone think that the bloody sun was the core? Fong Ping himself seemed to be showing signs of his mentality collapsing. It was a tragic sight. Li Hansong wanted to say something, but stopped. Wang Jinyang touched him quietly. The bloody sun was mistaken by everyone as the core of Fong Ping's materialized object. That was because Fong Ping had been replenishing his mentality. The bloody sun was still extremely powerful. That was the core's performance. Now that the bloody sun had collapsed, those who were not familiar with Fong Ping naturally thought that the materialized object's core had collapsed. Among those present, other than the two of them and Old Man Li, no one else knew that the small house was where Fong Ping's core was. When Fong Ping materialized in Magic City, he materialized a city. After that, the house disappeared. Where exactly did Fong Ping condense the core? He did not reveal it himself. Outsiders could only analyze it through the signs of the battle. Li Hansong did not say anything. Yang He looked at Fong Ping without batting an eyelid. The martial arts competition continued. Fong Ping looked proud. His provocative gaze swept toward Carmen from the Wanta world. Carmen's gaze was cold. Beside him, the Grandmaster from the Wanta world seemed to whisper something. Carmen grinned at Fong Ping. Suddenly, he pointed at an upper stage rank 6 martial artist from the military department and said, "You come out." The person who was pointed at did not say much. He stood up and walked out. Du Hong looked at him. His eyes showed a hint of helplessness. Li Yiming said loudly, "Dog, Fight me if you have the guts. When I go on stage later, I promise I'll slaughter all of you." Carmen laughed coldly. "Do whatever you want." After saying that, Carmen did not say a word. His scepter instantly exploded with a dazzling light. As Fong Ping frowned, on the scepter, a spiderweb-like vitality force spread out. In the blink of an eye, it covered that upper stage rank 6 military martial artist. Upper stage rank 6 martial artists were not really weak. The Wana world had some special combat techniques. He still knew about them. This military martial artist was just about to escape the coverage. This spiderweb-like vitality force, however, quickly covered him. Carmen spat out many mouthfuls of blood. The blood was like a living thing. It squirmed and continued to cover the military martial artist. On Fong Ping's side, Su Haoren said in a low voice, "This is the confinement technique of the Wanta world. It uses a strong vitality force and uses a special method to convert and confine the opponent." Before he finished speaking, Carmen suddenly grinned. He looked at Fong Ping and the others. His scepter suddenly swept out. Bang! The military martial artist, who was still struggling, had almost no strength to resist. His head exploded. Damn it! Li Yiming was furious. His cold eyes swept towards Carmen. Carmen sneered. He turned around and returned to his original spot. With their strength, killing these upper stage rank 6 was too easy. Du Hong killed the martial artist from the Hall of Gods in 3 moves. It was even easier for him to kill these upper stage rank 6 because the other party could not break free from his restraints. Du Hong did not say a word. He walked to the front and carried back his comrade, who had already lost his life. His eyes showed a hint of sorrow. Coming here, they were already prepared to die in battle. If they got the quota, then they had hope of entering the Grandmaster realm and becoming a true powerhouse. But the competition for the quota was something everyone wanted. They, the military martial artists, were the most dangerous group of people. Fong Ping closed his eyes and did not say another word. After the world of 10,000 pagodas, it was the ancient Buddha Holy Land. The long-haired monk, who called himself Buchuoi, did not choose Wang Jinyang and the others. Middle stage rank 6 was not worth wasting a chance for a powerhouse with mentality-vitality fusion. This person, once again, chose a martial artist from Sino Nation's side. Another upper stage rank 6 martial artist. There were only 3 upper stage rank 6 military martial artists. Originally, there were 4 of them. Later, Yao Chengjun took down one. Perhaps it was also to save him. Buchuoi was also extremely powerful. The moment he entered the arena, he used mentality-vitality fusion and celestiality fusion. A pair of shining golden palms exploded with powerful celestiality. With 3 palms, he smashed the military martial artist's head into pieces. Fong Ping's gaze was slightly cold. He glanced at him. The other 5 parties seemed to be staring at Sino Nation, the only remaining upper stage rank 6 military martial artist. Fong Ping glanced at him. The other party was still calm. His eyes had already revealed the will to die. He should be going to battle soon. After he died in battle, it would be Wang Jinyang and the others' turn next. As for the peak rank SIXS who participated in the battle this time, they were all descendants of paragons. Totem City's mentality-vitality fusion powerhouse, a man covered in tattoos and dressed in animal skin, challenged the last upper stage rank 6 Sino Nation military martial artist as expected. This time, the Sino Nation martial artist began to fight with his life as soon as he entered the arena. After receiving a blow, the Sanjiao Gate appeared instantly, opened, and self-destructed. A series of movements were extremely fast. As a result, the other party was also blasted by the force of the self-explosion. He let out a muffled groan. his face slightly pale. Jiang Chao, who was sitting beside Fang Ping, swallowed softly and said in a low voice, "In the past, I heard people say that the competition is very cruel, but in all these years in Constellation City, less than 3 people have died in the competition. I didn't expect it to be so cruel. Before the first round had ended, 3 people from Sino Nation had died. In the end, the one from the Andes did not challenge the Sino Nation martial artists anymore. Instead, he challenged a martial artist from Pantheon. Similarly, he killed that person within 3 moves. It's just a game," Fang Ping muttered in a low voice. A game that he did not know should exist. However, in order to fight for this opportunity, even if everyone knew, they still fought. After 1 round, 3 people from Sino Nation died, and 2 people from Pantheon died. On the surface, 5 powerhouses with mentality-vitality fusion had already made their moves. The second round had begun. It was Sino Nation again. This time, it was Li Yiming who was fighting. Li Yiming stood up quickly and looked at an upper stage rank 6 woman from the 10,000 pagoda world. He narrowed his eyes and said, "You come out." The woman's expression changed. She gritted her teeth and said, "Li Yiming, I am... come out." Li Yiming's eyes turned cold, and he roared. The expression of the woman with many small braids changed. She looked at Carmen and the rank 9 from the 10,000 pagoda world, pleading for help. Li Yiming wanted to kill her. She was the descendant of Juefeng, but so was Li Yiming. Moreover, his grandfather was still active in the open. Even if he killed her, her family's ancestor would not stand up for him. Carmen's expression was ugly, but he did not say anything. The rank 9 powerhouse from the 10,000 pagoda world said helplessly. The woman felt slightly relieved. After walking out of the camp, the woman wanted to say something. Li Yiming roared and slashed with his sword. The sword was like thunder, flashing past with a rumble. In the blink of an eye, the woman's head was sent flying. There was silence in the arena. The first descendant of a Juefeng was killed. Li Yiming laughed coldly. He looked at Carmen, then at the others, and said coldly, "The others don't dare, but I don't care. Continue to challenge our people. Let's compete in killing. Let's see who can kill more." Everyone had a strange look in their eyes, but no one said anything. It was their business for the descendants of Juefeng to kill each other. As for who died in the others' hands, it was their bad luck. The woman just now was obviously prepared to pretend that she could not hold on anymore if she could not win. In the end, she did not even manage to take a single move and died a wrongful death. The competition was still going on. Among the peak rank, 6, a descendant of a Juefeng, had already made his move. A peak powerhouse from the Hall of Gods did not challenge Wang Jinyang and the others. Instead, he challenged Su Zissou. Su Zissou went up the stage and took a blow. She flew back immediately and returned to her team, without saying anything. The other party did not chase after her. Not everyone had Li Yiming's confidence. On the side of the 10,000 pagodas world, a peak powerhouse pointed at Wang Jinyang without saying anything. They had checked out Sino Nation's information. Yao Chengjun seemed to be the weakest. Even a peak rank 6 was not confident that he could defeat him with his mentality materialization. Li Hansong's golden body was powerful, but he might not be able to defeat him. Wang Jinyang, on the other hand, only had bone marrow power. At this time, it did not seem too outstanding. Wang Jinyang got up slowly and walked to the center. Jiang Chao whispered, "Can he win?" "Let's see." Fang Ping did not say much. This battle was also beyond everyone's expectations. Wang Jinyang paid the price of a hole in his chest and killed his opponent within 30 moves. His pierced chest, on the other hand, was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, even those grandmasters' eyes were shining. Sino Nation's resurrected martial artist. This kind of martial artist could not be treated as a normal middle stage rank 6 anymore. The competition went on. Not everyone chose to challenge. Some gave up the chance to challenge. Saving the 3 chances for the last was not an individual's idea. Right now, they were not sure of each other's strength. Other than those who were extremely strong and confident in themselves, the others still had to wait and see. The 6 mentality-vitality fusion martial artists had already challenged. According to the rules, it would only be their turn after everyone else had finished challenging. 25 peak rank, 6 martial artists. Most of them had chosen to give up the challenge. The others were almost done too. The peak rank, 6 martial artists who had not challenged yet were mostly from Sino Nation. Instead, there were only 4 martial artists from Sino Nation who had not challenged yet. The Yang brothers had not uttered a word. The other 2 were Li Fei and Zheng Nanqi. It was not their turn before. The right to challenge would be held in Sino Nation. After these 4 peak rank, 6 martial artists had finished their challenges. Only the upper stage rank, 6 martial artists would continue to rotate. Not far away, Li Daong looked towards Sino Nation's side. The Yang brothers did not utter a word. Zheng Nanqi was a little surprised to see this, but he still took a step forward and chose to challenge an upper stage powerhouse from the Hall of Gods. Zheng Nanqi's strength was not weak. However, he did not manage to kill his opponent. Killing an opponent in a second was not something someone like him, who had just entered peak, could do. When Zheng Nanqi was done, Li Fei glanced at the Yang brothers and frowned slightly. Yang Mu, Yang Feng, you guys, Yang Mu smiled. You go first. We're not in a hurry. Li Fei saw this and did not say anything else. It did not matter who came first. This time, Li Fei also challenged an upper stage rank, 6 martial artist. Compared to Zheng Nanqi, Li Fei was much more ruthless. Although he did not kill his opponent, he had severely injured him and returned satisfied. At this moment, among the peak rank 6 martial artists present, only the Yang brothers had not challenged yet. Yang he glanced at the pale Fong Ping and laughed suddenly. Fong Ping, I'm afraid your condition will be noticed sooner or later. Now, you still have the right to be challenged twice. For your safety, why don't you let Yang Mu and Yang Feng use their right to challenge once to help you get through this stage? What do you think? Beside him, Su Haoran glanced at him. Minister Wang glanced at Fong Ping. Seeing his pale face, he frowned slightly and said in a low voice, Fong Ping, can you still hold on? Fong Ping smiled. It'll be fine. It's going to be the upper stage martial artist soon. According to the order, Sino Nation will still take priority. Don't waste the chance to challenge a peak martial artist. Jiang Chao, can you and Jiang Yen pretend to lose to me once? Otherwise, in my current condition, I'm afraid I can't use my right to challenge. If I lose, I won't be able to get a place. Jiang Chao nodded. No problem. Jiang Yen had no objections either. She nodded and said, I'll save it once. I can challenge someone else. It's fine. Both of them agreed readily. Yang he sighed softly. It's too late. The hidden mentality-vitality fusion from Heaven of Gods has his eyes on you. He's pretending to be an upper stage rank 6 now. Sino Nation, even if they have priority, they can only challenge once. There's only one chance left. I'm afraid he's going to attack. As soon as he said this, everyone's expression changed slightly. It was not just the hidden mentality-vitality fusion. Even the rank 9 from Heaven of Gods was looking at Fong Ping suspiciously. Fong Ping's face was too pale. As for these hidden powerhouses, Du Hong had told everyone that it was necessary. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous if they challenged the wrong person rashly. Minister Wang's expression changed. Fang Ping was not in a good state now. He still had 2 chances to be challenged. Even if Sino Nation lost to Fang Ping once at the upper stage martial artists, there was still one more chance. The next one would be Heaven of Gods. The only way was to use up Fang Ping's 2 chances to be challenged on Sino Nation's side. However, the Yang family, Minister Wang, was a little worried. Everyone had seen the dispute between them just now. Yang He smiled. "Everyone, you don't have to look at me like that. Fang Ping is Sino Nation's prodigy. The Yang family doesn't want to see him being taken advantage of. The sooner he uses up his right to be challenged, the better, to avoid any accidents." Minister Wang was still hesitating. Su Haoran frowned slightly and said, "Yang, Fang Ping's injuries are not light. If Yang Mu and Yang Feng are really willing to help him this time, I think Fang Ping will be grateful. But Yang," he said, "seriously, the Yang family won't be a joke at this time. What do you think?" When he said this, everyone somewhat believed him. There was no benefit in killing Fang Ping. Would MCMTU give the rank 9 divine weapon to the Yang family if they killed Fang Ping? They would be lucky if they did not seek revenge. Since there was no benefit, the Yang family would not harm Fang Ping at this time. If the Yang brothers really lost to Fang Ping, even if Yang Mu won, as long as Yang Feng lost to Fang Ping later, then Fang Ping would still qualify as the winner. If he did not challenge later and did not lose to others, it would not be a problem for him to get a place. However, this would put a lot of pressure on Yang Feng. He might be eliminated later. From their point of view, there was no benefit in the Yang family attacking Fang Ping at this time. There was also no need for it. Fang Ping's eyes flickered. It was a little strange. He thought He would talk about the divine weapon. Fang Ping had been watching the 2 Yang family members. He thought He would use this opportunity to threaten him to hand over the divine weapon. However, He did not. He did not even talk about this. That was not what he had expected. Could it be that the Yang family wanted to form a good relationship with him before asking for the divine weapon? If that was the case, then there was no need for him to disguise himself and attack Yang. It was just like what everyone else thought. Fang Ping also thought so. The Yang family's goal was the divine weapon. They did not have to kill him. There was no benefit in killing him at this time. What is He planning? Fang Ping was a little confused. However, now that things had come to this, he was also a little confused. After thinking for a while, he nodded and said, "Thank you for your kindness, Grandmaster Yang. However, the rank 9 divine weapon does have a place to go. Forget it. Let's talk about these things after the competition." Fang Ping was not sure what He was thinking. If the Yang brothers had no ill intentions, they did want to form a good relationship with him. Fang Ping could not give him the rank 9 divine weapon, but he still had a rank 8 divine weapon. If the Yang family did not continue to treat him as an enemy, Fang Ping did not have much of an opinion about using a rank 8 divine weapon to solve the Yang family's problem. He laughed and said, "We'll talk about this later. I'll let Yang Mu challenge you now." Okay. As soon as Fang Ping finished speaking, Yang Mu stood up and said, "I challenge Fang Ping." Many people were surprised when they heard this. Only when one of their own challenged one of their own would such a thing happen at the last moment, when the fight for the quota had reached a stalemate. Now, not only did this challenge waste Yang Mu's chance, but it also wasted Fang Ping's chance. With Fang Ping's strength, he might be able to defeat another mentality-vitality powerhouse. Not far away, Li Daong frowned slightly. However, seeing that Fang Ping had already stood up, he could only nod and say, "Go up." Fang Ping and Yang Mu walked out at the same time. Seeing that Fang Ping had walked out, Yang He chuckled and said, Yang Mu, be careful. Don't hurt Fang Ping. Yang Mu immediately said, I know. However, General Fang, don't be too careless. In the end, if there are more people, it might increase the chances of a challenge. That would be troublesome. That's why we have to display a certain level of strength. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.